3, 4.
Hands in your body, I'm grabbing your ass, enjoying the moment, cause life moved too fast. I'm looking forward, ignoring the past. These are the times that we'll laugh looking back. I'm getting lucky like coins in a well. Goodbye to my haters, I'm wishing you well. This is my amen, if you couldn't tell. This is our life and we living it well. Late nights in the city causing hell. Burn this bitch into the ground, oh well. For all we got tonight, let's do this right. Let's do this right. Let's go to.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can y'all hear me? Oh, nice to see you. Oh, hello. Go like this too with my music. I don't know if it's blowing you out or not. Welcome. Teresa, hi. I am glad you're here for many reasons, but one of those, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna make you my co-host. So I will have you manage my waiting room a little bit. But everybody else, welcome. Nice to have you here. Isaac Albatriz. Nice to meet you. In the flesh. The real deal. Isaac, you should be able to unmute, man. When did you get started working? It was over a month ago, is that right?
It would be about 4 weeks ago to the day.
4 weeks ago to the day, but who's counting?
Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting? And then what are you at so far?
In terms of CEO?
Yeah.
I think right now I'm at, that's a good question. Hold on, let me see. Let me check the numbers. Right now, okay, apparently I put my password in wrong.
Okay. Welcome everybody. Hello. Becky, nice to see you.
Right now I'm at 22,553.6. So $22,536.
To the dollar.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, cool. That's really great, man. Well, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Evan Keller. I think this is our first interaction.
Yeah.
And this is a good event. So Kenji, what's up? Are you ready? All right. So this is some kind of event that we're gonna do today. So you all better be ready. Cooper, what's cracking, Cooper? It's nice to see you. Nice to see you as well. We got Brand to get on. Y'all could you can use the chat box too if you like. Just say hi to everybody is good. Ashley Wizikowski.
That's pretty good.
Close.
What is it?
Wizikowski.
Cool. That sounds like a strong Polish name. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if I'm gonna like show and reveal how much of a dad I am right now, but we watch a lot of Monsters Inc. So like Mike Wazowski. You probably get that from time to time, and I'm sure that's been played and everything. So sorry for being unoriginal.
No, it's totally cool.
Cool. Nice to meet you. If y'all are just jumping on, we're gonna get started in a minute. But if you could please get yourself renamed, so that way we have you. So I know who you are. Okay. So from which office you're from, I should be more specific there. So if you want to put your little code in front, if you look at Teresa, Binky is a perfect example. Cooper, another excellent example, would be great. And any managers that are on, you can also help that along as well. Joshua Fernandez, nice to see you. Chelsea, how you doing? All right, you ready? Cool. All right, I like it. All right, we got Vicky on, Caleb, Logan, Ice. Ice is in the house. This is great. We're going to start in 2 minutes, and I'm actually going to start by showing a video today. So you all want to get something ready for your notes. You're going to want to make sure you get your calendars out. And today's event is going to be a little different. It's definitely different than any SLDM you've been to before, all across the board. But I will be there's going to be some interaction that's going to happen during the time. So I'll kind of explain that as we go along. Nathan Cumming, nice to see you there. Hello, Nathan. Lynette, Ayla, Lynette Smallwood. Nice to see you as well. And we got Lawson in the house. Hey, Lawson, nice to see you as well. And Melina with the invite. That's cool. Great. Mr. Bora, we got Jasmine Dyer that's on. Fantastic. Leo and Teresa, if and Austin, actually, I'll co-host you as well here as we get going. And Jordan Farber is in the house. It's pretty cool. Yeah, really cool. So, like I said, managers, if you see somebody in the waiting room, if you can put them in for me, that would be wonderful. And we're gonna roll soon. So for your notes, everybody, just so everybody knows the title of today's event and what we're going to be doing, this is our Alliance info and planning session. Okay, so this is going to be real detail. We're going to go into it, and I'm going to talk about the Alliance and what that means for our push for the Super Bowl of Cutco. And so here we go. Here we go. If everybody could, please, in my chat box, if you go ahead, post something that you are grateful for from this job this summer. Specific about, so I'm not usually asking for something specific with gratitudes, but I will in this particular case. So post something that you are grateful for about this job so far this summer. Go ahead and throw that in the chat box for me, please. That would be wonderful to get that as well. Hello, Kendall. Hello, Kyle. Fantastic. Caleb Yates is in the house. Hello, Caleb. Nice to see you as well. All right, we got learning how to place orders. Yeah, it's a key one, right? We have Hype System, fantastic community. Is Hype System, fantastic community, are those the same things? I don't know it. Is that what that, am I dating myself as well too? Like Hype System, that sounds really good, but so hopefully that's super positive for us. New friendships, grateful from confidence and self-talk has improved. Kendall, that's a beautiful thing. Communication skills, the opportunity to interact. That's really great. That's really great. So here we go, everybody. We're gonna start. So I'm gonna start off actually by showing y'all a video, and it's gonna lead into kind of what we're talking about today. So let me get this queued up so everybody can see this thing, and I'll do my best to make sure that the volume is right and we're going. But I want to show you this video, this trailer for a movie, but there's a chance that some of y'all have seen it before. So here we go. If you could all give me a thumbs up that you can hear.
I'm a petty officer, Shane.
Can he say it?
Can you say it?
Mr. Patton, please.
Come on.
Been around the world twice. Talked to everyone once. There ain't nothing I can't do. No sky too high, no sea too rough. Learned a lot of lessons in my life. Never shoot a large caliber man with a small caliber bullet. Anything in life worth doing is worth overdoing. Moderation's for cowards. I'm a lover. I'm a fighter. I'm a UDT Navy SEAL diver.
Listen up. Red Wings a go. Bad guy. Senior Taliban commander.
Shaw killed 20 Marines last week. 20.
Going in with a 4-man team. Axelson, myself, Dietz, Marcus. TV. It's a lot more than 10 guys. It's an army. This op is compromised.
This is Spartan 01. Radio check.
Danny, you radio working? The way I see it, we got two options. One, we let him go, roll the dice.
Second that they run down there, we got 200 on our backs.
Two, we terminate the compromise.
We cannot do that. I don't care. I care about you. I care about you. I care about you. Not killing kids, not feeling it.
This is not a vote. We're gonna cut them loose, and we're going home.
Roger that, sir. Roger. You see this? We're fixing to get into a pretty good gunfight. There's a storm inside of us. A drive. You push yourself further than anyone could think possible.
You can die for your country, I'm gonna live for mine.
See? God God's looking out for us.
We're good, right? We're solid.
We can be heroes.
You are never out of the fight.
Just for one day.
All right, so I'll stop that right there. So why do I share that video? Well, we're going to talk all today about creating a really special group of individuals that want to challenge themselves for our biggest contest that's coming up. And one of the best analogies that I've ever really used for this is coming up with like a group of special people like the Navy SEALs. And everybody knows who the Navy SEALs are, right? Whether you pay attention to military or not, like, you know, there's the general military, and then they all have their special operations. And this event, Kimberly, is really designed to help figure out who are going to be our special ops for SC2, right? Who are going to be the people that want something a little bit extra, who want to challenge themselves, who want to link arms together, just like those 4 Navy SEALs that got stuck in the woods out in Afghanistan, then battling together against, you know, insurmountable odds, essentially, right? And so that's really what the push period is all about for our alliance group. And the gift for us is we don't have to deal with being in the dogfight like that in reality. But we can bring that here to us, Nathan, and go, how do we challenge ourselves to go for something different? How do we inspire other people around us? And then how do we get a chance to realize our untapped potential? You know, because that's kind of the point of why we do this. And I'll talk about that today. So here's really what I want to share to start off with today is giving everybody a bit of a definition of what the alliance is. And so we had our SC1 push period. Okay. And we have people that want to push themselves during that time. And we know we had our top performers who are a part of this already in Becky and Isaac. You know, you were the number ones and number twos. That's pretty cool to see that going on. But for me, as the division manager, SC2, our Super Bowl, this one for me is always the real alliance. And what I mean real alliance is like, this is the one that I get extra involved in. Isaac, I roll my sleeves up. Sarah, I do a lot of the coaching and the teaching, but I also see it as our biggest pool for developing our top people. In fact, Cooper, a lot of our alliance members are people that get fast-tracked into TLA. A lot of our alliance members are people that create leadership opportunities for us. A lot of our alliance members and people who perform well for SC2 Push become our starting lineup for next summer and beyond. And some of our alliance members in the past have really been the ones that I've seen separate themselves. And you know how we also talk about 5-star recruits, right? Like, Brian, that shouldn't be a new thing to you at all. Like, we talk about 5-star recruits. It's going through these moments where we create an association to further the common interest of its members. And so we work together to be able to do this. And it really is an incredible feat. And you can think about this specialized group, and in our case, men and women that are working extremely hard as a circle of influence to push each other, challenge each other, support each other through something that is a daunting task, but getting through on the other side, Brannigan, no matter what the result is, right? No matter what the final result is, doesn't matter, is going through a moment and deciding to do that. So here's what I'm going to ask everybody today. I'm going to ask everybody to make some decisions today. Is that fair? Like, I'm going to ask you to make a decision. And I also want to let you know this, like, Curtis, I'm actually okay if you make the decision like, hey, Evan, I don't necessarily want to be a part of the South Coast Alliance for this SC2. So just because you're here, it doesn't obligate you to it. You guys see what I mean? Ashley, it's not required. There's no arm twisting. In fact, if you don't want to be in and like challenge yourself at like the highest level for that, understand me right, South Coast, I actually don't want you to be part of that alliance. You see what I mean? Like, I want the people that are going, hey, I want the challenge, I'm signing up, and I want to see what I'm capable of. However, Ayla, by the time we finish, if you go, you know what, all the alliance things you talk about, Evan, maybe that's not for me for this push, that's okay. You're still a valued member of the team. And do we still need you for the push? Absolutely, right? We're going against every other division in the West Coast. Guess who won the first push? South Coast Division, right? And we were going against Southland and we were going against LA. But now this time, Ashley, the stakes are higher because now we're going against the Bay Area, NorCal, right? We're going against the Northwestern, like the Pacific Northwest divisions in Oregon and Washington, Hawaii, right? Like we're going against them all. And so the goal is to take them all down, right? And so we need some more people to sign on for this, okay? So it doesn't really matter to me the size of our group. What matters to me is the right people wanting to do it. But whether you decide like, yeah, Evan, I'm going for this alliance, this sounds great, Joshua, this is right up your alley, or you're on the other side, I think everybody's going to get massive value out of the event, because we're going to do a lot of workshopping. Today, there's going to be a lot of interaction. And also, we're going to help everybody develop their goal for the push. Does that sound good? So Jacob, I don't care what your goal is. Doesn't matter. It could be 5K, it could be 25K. Doesn't matter to me. Just want to make sure I teach everybody some executive level, high level planning. And the things that we teach today, Brian, you'll be able to use later on in life, right? You'll start to think about how I think about my business, how I thought about my business as a rep, how I thought about my business as a district manager, how I thought about my business as a division manager. And so utilizing those skills for the future. So I'm really excited about that, but we do want to create an elite group. But no matter what, I'm going to ask you to make a decision today. And no matter what, whatever way you want to go, I'm okay with it. We just want to make sure we have the right people in place, right? And so you want to think about it this way. Do you want to be in the game, right? In the game, a player type, or maybe your push period, you're a little on the sidelines, right? Doesn't mean you're not working, Megan, but it might mean you're not the Giannis, right? From the Milwaukee Bucks, right? You might not be making all the plays. You might not be going all out for the 19 days, but we still need everybody. And one of the values of doing this is that when we get across a group of people that are great together, the fact that iron sharpens iron is extremely valuable. This hashtag COI, I talk about it a lot. Those of you that get into my leadership academy, this is one of the first things that we really coach our new leaders on, is developing strong circles of influence. And so I want to help you do that, because, you know, you show me the books that you read, the podcasts you listen to, and the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people you surround yourself with, who are your mentors. And Isaac will show you your life, right? We'll show you your trajectory and where you're going to go. So circle of influence makes a big difference. You know, we want to create winning teams, right? Like the Red Sox, right? Warriors in the past, of course. In the past, women's soccer team, very cool. And of course, this year, the Bucks, which I was so impressed with what they did. So here's the question, why push? I'd like for you to get this all down in your notes. So there'll be a lot of things to get down in your journal for today. And I'm going to ask everybody for your light bulbs many times throughout the event, what you're thinking about, what's going on in your brain, and also at the end of the event as well. But why push? August 2nd through August 20th, this is our push period. And it's a lengthy push period. Okay, it's a lengthy push period. And the reason why we do this is because, some of you already know this, is we want to persist until something happens. Now, some of you have gone through push periods before already, but maybe you didn't subscribe to this all the way, Kenji. As an example, right? Maybe you didn't say, I didn't keep going until I had a breakthrough. And so one of the things I'd like for you to get down in your notes is the concept of a breakthrough. Right? So that's why we do this push. And you'll hear me talking about this a lot over the next 3-4 weeks, is you want to create opportunities for yourself to have breakthroughs. So Chelsea, your confidence goes through the roof, right? How you believe in yourself. You start to actually view yourself a little bit differently. Would you all agree that it matters in this life on how we view ourselves? Like that is the thing a lot of times, right? Like our self-perception. And when you sign up for something, you go through it and you succeed, or you struggle and you get through the other side. It's like, that's where the growth comes from. So Lori and I want that for you. You know, when I was a new representative, I decided to sign up for the push periods. And man, my first couple ones, Kimberly, were hard as hell. Man, they were hard. Like my first 10K push I went after, I didn't do it. My second one, I finally cracked through. And then it was like, I found a way to do $10,000 for the push period, which by the way, is kind of like the mark of a great push. It's the mark of a great push. Now, when we think about it like this, I want to make sure that our group understands that when we talk about this idea of persisting until something happens, I see a lot of value in this, is that we must face difficult things to reveal our true selves, right? Maybe this is also something to get down in your notes. Like if it's easy, we don't want it. Or if it's easy, I don't want it. You know, the easy things that come in life are never really valued at a high level, right? Some things feel good to get them quick and easy, but ultimately they're less satisfying, right? If we weren't responsible for working hard to go get them. Another reason why people push during this time is they want to get an opportunity to make a statement, right? So Ayla, here's a perfect opportunity for you, because as a division manager, this is where I'm watching our top people, and you get an opportunity to really step up. Lawson, you get to represent the Riverside team, make a statement. Hey, Evan, this is who I am. Hey, Lindsay, this is who I am on the team. Okay. Something else, the reason why people push as they try to do things that they haven't done before. And you're going to hear me talking today about 40 demonstrations. You're going to hear me talking today about doing 40 demonstrations. And you know what? There's actually a chance that some of you haven't even done 40 demos yet. There's a chance that I have people on this call right now, you haven't even done 40 yet, right? And so there's an opportunity, Nathan, to go, you know what? I'm going to see what I can do in 2.5 weeks, right? I want to stretch my capacity. However, there's quite a few of you that have school coming up, yes? Things going on. So it's very likely that a good portion of our group is going to have something happening during the push period that's out of your control. Becky has a trip, right? Isaac, you got school. Leo has something happening in his schedule. No problem at all, right? I know Teresa has a dang Tough Mudder right in the middle of the push period, which, by the way, I mean, what better thing to do than go get beat up for fun in a Tough Mudder, you know? So you think about that, and I want to let you all know is that this 19-day contest, if you think about 40 demos, if you thought about, Jacob, like, hey, if I just did demos every single day, it comes out to about 2 a day. So when I say that, does that feel easier than I need to do 8 appointments a day, right? That's certainly a lot more, or even thinking about 40. But frankly, you know, Kimberly, you might have some days in the push where you can't work. Curtis, you're probably gonna need to take a couple of days off during the push period, right? I'd like for you to put this in your notes is what does your gas tank look like? What's your gas tank look like? How far can you go? Or how long can you go on a charge, right? If we think about all the electric cars that are coming up now. Like Jasmine, how far can you really go? You know, it was something that was a point of pride when I was on the wrestling team in high school, right? It's like who had the deepest, biggest gas tank and who could go the furthest, right? Isaac, you might know what I'm talking about. I saw in your Leatherman jacket that your wrestling letter. That's cool. You know, and most of you can relate to something like that, right? Can someone dig deep? And there's a lot of value in there. So thinking about that. Now, here's the thing, Ashley, Miss Ashley, you might go, I look at my whole schedule, we do the planning, I can only do 25. And I'm totally great with that. And Ashley, you can still be a member of the Alliance if you do that. All right. So this is just what we talk about for people. This is a good thing. Chelsea, you might also go 40. How about 60? All right, cool. So you can see what you can do. So if you put this in your notes, short-term sacrifice for huge long-term gains. That's why people push. And I always like doing it this way because 19 days is like, yeah, Lawson, we got to figure out what your gas tank looks like, right? You got to figure out how far you can go. But I like this. 1 day push 19 times. 1 day push 19 times. Like, Chelsea, can you show up each day and just win that day? Just win that day and then focus on the next day and then focus on the next day and focus on the next day. And so that's so important. So when I do say 19 days here, Cooper, I do not expect you to wake up at 6 a.m. every single day, work till midnight, 19 days straight. You might not have a gas tank like that. You might, but that's not an expectation. It's not required for the Alliance. But always we have some people in our Alliance group that work like that. Can y'all imagine? You know, they say, hey, I'm going to put everything else to the side. I'm going to go all in on this one part. I'm going morning till night every day. And then those people are the people that create amazing results, right? At like astronomically high results. And so success does love preparation. So we're going to talk about that today. So my main objective by the time we leave today, I have several objectives, but one of my main objectives is to help you all with preparing for the push period. So we're going to cover a lot of things. We're going to cover whys. We're going to do purpose today. We're going to do executive level planning. I'm going to talk about the RPM method. I'm going to walk you through the schedule. I'm going to show you to-dos coming out of this event, Elijah, so you get a lot of clarity on what you need to do. And then when you all get done, then I'm going to ask you to start making some decisions, right? I'm going to ask you to go, what do you want to do and what level do you want to do it at? But we want to make sure that you're prepared for whatever is going to be coming up. So that's super key. The other thing I want to talk about today too is the concept of intentional pushes versus circumstantial pushes in our lives this is something that I think is a great learning lesson for our crew. And you know what? Skylar, you actually already inherently know this, right? Like we already know that if we choose something willingly, right, and we accomplish it, there's a lot of power in doing that, right? Like Emily, you're taking on the responsibility. You say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to push forth. How many of you in your life have ever done something really hard that'd be worth like bragging about? Like I did this, right? Okay. Now, by the way, we're going to journal that a little bit later because we're going to draw some lessons out of that. But we've all experienced those types of things in our lives. However, there are certain things in our life that we can choose, and you'd agree there's certain things in our life that we can't choose. How many of you have gone through a really challenging time that you did not choose? It wasn't your fault. It came up by circumstance. Who can relate to that? Cool. Okay, great. By the way, any of you that are video challenged today for some reason, you can use some kind of like emoji or in the chat box or something like that, so I know that you're there. That'll give me a lot of confidence as your division manager. But I do want to let you all know, thank you, Ali, for that, and Jesus. So I do want to let you all know is that it's better to choose it if we can, because we create control there, and our brain actually works on it differently, right? Because Ashley, if some circumstantial thing comes into your life and pushes you and challenges you, it can drop feelings of resentment, right? Anger, right? Things that like, why is this happening to me? Has anybody ever felt that way? Like, why is this happening to me right now? Well, that's circumstance. Caleb, you can't control circumstance. But if you go in with intention, it's going to prepare you. And so this is another reason why people push, is because when you do more intentional pushes in your life, it prepares you for the circumstantial pushes that come up that are not in your control. Right? Because life is a struggle, life is challenge, life is hard. And there's going to be a lot of things, Megan, in your life that you're going to come across that are going to be like, you're almost going to feel like they're outside of your capacity. But if you willingly choose more tough situations, more hard moments, more pushes in your life, more short-term sacrifice for long-term gain, does everybody see how that could set you up with a skill set for the future? Do you see how that can set you up with some mental fortitude, mental strength? How many of you know people that are super mentally strong? How many of you are mentally strong? Some of you are like, yeah, me. Okay. Some of you did raise your hand though, too. Like you might be honest, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know where I'm at. Can we agree that people that exhibit mental fortitude, mental strength, that's admirable. That's an admirable trait, right? Like they have a strong will and a strong mind. They learn how to work around the challenges, right? That's something super valuable. So maybe some of you want to push and be a part of this alliance to toughen yourself up. Chelsea, to get your skin hard, right? Thicken the skin a little bit for later on in life. Because at the end of the day, you know, Jordan Farber, what are we doing? I mean, we're just selling the best knives in the world, but at the end of the day, you know, when I think about what my wife has to do at work, she's an ICU nurse, or I'd have like friends that are physician or something like that, like saving lives. I'm like, it's a little different, you know, it's a little different. But Michelle, if you can choose the harder path, if you can choose something that's challenging, look at it as building that endurance, right? Building that discipline. It's such a great muscle. So that's what I really want to talk to you about. And so why do we push? So here's a couple things for your notes. Push periods, Brandigan, are not just a Cutco vector thing. You're going to have lots of moments in your life that you're going to want to push yourself. And you don't always know when they're coming up, but we want to be prepared. And I want everybody to hear these types of things. Is my outcome for you when you get done with this push period, Isaac, is about who you become, the strength that you acquire and develop. And that, everybody, is a lot greater than how much you sell, right? So Melina, if you go after a $15,000 push and you fall short and you sell 7,000, hey, great job, Melina. You signed up for something that's harder and you prep for the next one. But who you're becoming in the process is really what it's all about. This is why we talk about being vector trained, you know, going through these moments later on. Mastering the inner game. We're going to show you how to do this. So a lot of the coaching during the push period is going to be mental, Cooper. It's going to be strategies to help you overcome the challenges, right? That you willingly take on, right? And that's the idea, is we willingly take them on. So response ability. Do you all see that? I rather like that. Your ability to respond, because you're going to have challenging days and great days and these types of things. So we'll talk about learning how to emotionally detach and respond properly. So that way later on in life, you don't crumble when something comes your way, you can respond. And then certainly how to think like a champion, right? Think like a champion. Can I give you an example of an idea of like just a mental frame here of thinking like a champion? Is Kenji, can you imagine that new representatives, not anybody here, but like some rookies go, oh, nobody's picking up the phone. Nobody's answering. I know none of you have ever said that before. You've never made a complaint like that ever in your life, Michael, I'm sure, right? Oh, nobody's answering. They're just not picking up. Well, Curtis, the push champion will go, hey, that's perfect, right? That's perfect. If I make 20 more phone calls, there's an opportunity to schedule more appointments, right? Chelsea, I'm sure you had a demo cancel in your career. No, who's had a demo no-show? You literally got on the link and Mrs. Jones ghosted you. Stone cold, right? She just did you dirty. Well, Margarita, what a push champion does is they say perfect. They say good. Thank you, Chris. Happened to you today. Congratulations. So what did you do in that moment? What was your response ability to that? And most people don't do it, but the push champion says, perfect, good. Nathan, I'm just going to make 10 more phone calls. I was going to work for an hour. I might as well bang out 20 or 30 phone calls and create 5 or 6 more versus Brannigan feeling sorry, or Chris in this case, feeling sorry for himself, right? Because that doesn't serve anybody, right? Can y'all, does that resonate for y'all? Like, it's just a different way to think about it. And so we want to prep you and train you to do that. So again, that's what I think it means to be vector trained. So why else do we push? There's going to be a lot of things for your notes here, but I'm going to take them one by one. Okay. So first thing is the SC2 Alliance is really designed to help you make the most out of the summertime. If you're looking to extract the marrow, Michelle, out of the vector Cutco opportunity, the push periods are those like quintessential time periods where we want to do something special and we can rise to the occasion. Because frankly, Michelle, you're not going to work like this normally, right? You're not going to like all out every day. Like, oh my gosh, you're going to burn, you know? And some of you have school in the fall, right? And so thinking about that, like what I think about the best type of student in the fall that sells is someone that's consistent. You know, they do 5 demos a week, focus on getting 2, 3, 4 orders a week. Like I think about that, but there's an opportunity to really maximize your summer opportunity in a push period. How about this, everybody? How about the ability to maximize your earning potential? Who'd like to be at school at 2 or 3 more promotions from now? Some of you are going to hit 2 or 3 promotions, maybe even more than that during this contest. And so that's another reason why people do it. Develop your core and your fundamental personal selling skill sets. So Cooper, one thing that's an inevitability is that if you do, let's say 40 appointments, you're going to get good at the job. You can't help it. You're going to get good at the job. And so we want to help you get good in that area. So separate you from your peers, which can be a huge motivator for a lot of people since so many people, right, are around that mediocre level, right? So many people operate in a mediocre way. There's a lot of people that excel, right? But there's a lot of people that don't. And so I think it's pretty easy to separate yourselves. Even just being a part of the alliance separates you. I think about creating openings of advancement for you, getting leadership opportunities. This one right now, Megan, I'm watching everybody most closely, every person in my division for SC2, because it matters the most. It's our biggest competition. I want to see who's going to perform, right? Because here's the thing, Kenji, that tells me everything, right? I actually don't even like to listen sometimes to what people say they're going to do. I just want to watch them because I learn so much more that way about them, right? It tells me everything that I need to know. Compete for an official spot in our coveted TLA class of 2022. Enhance your overall leadership and people skills. Some of you are looking to gain those, maybe all of you, and expose you to our most positive professional circles of influence. That's great, right? So not only our management team, but this group, right, who decides to rise up and other members of our organization that are going to be part of our alliance. So here's what our alliance members do to achieve at a high level because of these following. One, if you decide you want to be a part of the alliance today, what you're signing up for here, Melina, is positive pressure. Positive pressure, right? I think it's so valuable to have coaches. If we have great coaches that are able to hold us accountable, we make agreements and we honor the agreement, right? If any of you become one of my managers someday, an assistant manager or above, Lorian, I'll tell you, you don't manage the person, you manage the agreement. You don't manage the person, you manage the agreement, right? And so when you set a goal and you make agreements, you get an opportunity to practice that and honor that. And I think that's a great thing for later on as well. Circle of influence. So Skylar gets to be around a lot of like-minded people if you choose to be a part of it. Kendall gets to be around, Kendall's already positive, right? Like-minded, thinking big. But Kendall, you'll even go next level when you're around this group of people. And then I think about high-level coaching, right? Signing on to get all the best information. So we'll talk about that. Cool? So this is really what it boils down to. I'll leave this up for another moment here. But and you could probably all list a lot of other reasons why you would want to be a part of the alliance, like personal reasons for you. In fact, I'll ask you some of those today. But so think about that, you know, and what is it that you want to do? So one of the slides that I show all the time is that, you know, for everybody here during this push period, we want to get you a chance to move up into another position. Becky, if you're here, I want you to advance, right? Like, it's okay if you're not with Cutco for 4 years. Like, Becky, that's totally fine with me. I hope you're here a long time. You know, why not? We want to retain great people. But really, I'm holding the key for TLA for people to become future AMs, BMs, CSPs, and really have our great opportunity. And so during the push period, I want to get hot updates from you, Lorian. I want, you know, if you're team building, getting other PRs on the team, because we still have other trainings that happen this summer. And then, of course, CPO. That's a great way to think about that as well. But the TLA is what most people are gearing for. So when it comes to this, is we're going to talk about your CPO plan. And it's going to start to become clear what you want to do by the end of the summertime, what your summer CPO is going to be in your income. When's your Dirty 30 birthday, Miss Emily, Malaysia? Grace, when are you going to hit it? You know, and so some people really want to do this, Michael, because they go, you know what, this is my best opportunity before school starts to push hard and I can run after that Dirty 30, right? You don't have to work like that normally, but team building, right? What is your plan to help get more people on the squad? And then staying on the radar, right? Giving me updates, separating yourselves. We'll talk about withholdings and savings. We talk a lot about investing and preparing for the future. But our SC2 Alliance, from so many of these people, are going to lead into our Leadership Academy. And so I'm really pleased about that. Some of you have seen this slide before, but one of the things that you probably want to make a mental note of, or actually a physical note, is you should do a Cutco through college plan with your manager. And just going, what's next for you? And, you know, Caleb, who knows how long you'll be here, right? But if you were here for 1 more year, what would you want to achieve? Caleb, if you were here for 2 more years, what would you want to achieve? And so we'd like to make this plan, and all of our managers do that with our people as they start to ascend. So Margarita, make a plan with your manager. You know, hey, can we do my Cutco through college? So that way, Grace, this doesn't commit you to doing it for 4 years, but you have a roadmap. And it's so valuable for people to be able to do that. But the push starts to provide some clarity, because a lot of people are right here first summer and they want to earn a spot. They want to get in the TLA and they want to get an opportunity for leadership next summer. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transition a touch. And I'm going to have you write a few things down in your journal. Okay. And we're going to have an opportunity to share. Okay. We're going to have an opportunity to share. So I said that today I want this to be interactive, and I want to get a chance for everybody to workshop this a little bit. So if you can put this down in your notes currently, is what have you really pushed for in your life before? So I'd like for you to jot down as many ideas as you can right now. And I'm going to play a little bit of music. Don't do this second question yet. In fact, I'll just go like this, right? Don't worry about describing anything in detail. What I'd like for you to all do is I'd like for you to think back on everything in your life, whether it was an intentional or a circumstantial push. What's been challenging for you that you've overcome on the other side that's a proud achievement for you? So I'm going to give you a minute here. Write down as many as you can, as many as you've done. A little bit of June's going here for a second for all of you, but just write down as many as you can possibly think of. What has shown up for you? I'd also like for you to write something next to this, is how long it was. Was it days? Was it weeks? Was it months? You know, for some of you, I guess it could be as long as a year, right? So try to list as many as you can. It's not a contest. I'm not going to ask who has the most, anything like that, but what really made you grow? I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear my music, my Inception music. Cool. And one more thing I'll offer up to anybody here is if you're struggling to think of some, you can also write down what you've seen other people go through in your life and done incredible things, right? Again, it's not a contest between you and them. I'm just saying, if you want to jot a few more things down where you've seen people push and overcome. A few more seconds. I'll pause you wherever you're at. And what I would like for you to do is now I would like for you to choose one of them is ideal, although you could do more, but like choose one of them. And I'd like for you to describe in detail. So just like free form, bullet points or just, free writing. Describe in detail some of the lessons or the gifts that you learned along the way, going through it. So I'll give you a few minutes here. Be as specific as possible, as detailed as you can. What were the skills you got? What were the lessons that you learned? What were your light bulbs? What was aha? What did it help prepare you for in the future, Kenji? These types of things. So be as detailed as you can. I'll give you a few minutes. So you still have about another minute or so. So take your time. No rush. Don't have to rush it, but just another minute. Maybe also describe who helped you through it. Who did you help through it? What did they teach you? What surprised you going through it? What surprised you about you? And about 30 more seconds here. Okay. So start putting your final thoughts down. Anything else? Any other lesson? Any other skill? Any other surprise? So we'll stop there. Okay, cool. Everybody got something? All right. So here's what we're going to do. I wanted us to get an opportunity to meet other people. I want us to get an opportunity to interact. So I'm going to whisk you away into a breakout room here momentarily. Listen closely though, because there's some specific directions for your breakout room. All right. So maybe jot these down so you can help the person out. I'll be messaging you as well in your breakout. First one is you got 10 minutes in your breakout, no more, no less. All right. So you are the person with the earliest birthday month will share first. Okay. Cool. Person with the earliest birthday month will share first. You will also, as a group, elect a timekeeper. All right. So that way you don't have somebody sharing their push story in their past for 9 minutes and then everybody gets like, 20 seconds. Okay. So if that person, some of you won't even take 2.5 minutes to share, but y'all hear that? Like you have 2.5 minutes. So it's fine. It's like not a rush. Like I went through this, I learned this. Like, no, you can describe what you went through or one of your pushes that you went through, one of the challenges. And then, what are the gifts and lessons that you learned? So earliest birthday month goes first, then you go around the horn, right? If all of your group gets done and there's still time, then just have other great communication about this topic, right? Maybe something you noticed that one of your partners said, right? Something you want to acknowledge somebody for, these types of things, okay? And so we're going to get an opportunity to do that. Does that sound good, everybody? All right, so you should, when you get into your room, you should have the ability to unmute and you should be able to talk, but obviously give the person the floor, figure it out. You're going to have 10 minutes. So it's 2:42. So I'm going to bring you back into this main room at 2:53 because by the time we get there, we'll be good. Does that sound good, everybody? All right, great. So play full out, engage, make sure you meet everybody that's in your group, know what office they're from, and then let's rock and roll, okay? Enjoy yourselves. I'm going to open up the rooms now. You might have to click to go in. I'm not sure, but hopefully you'll be able to move right into them. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, cool. Yeah, everybody's going to start rolling back in here in a second, and then look at here everybody comes. So great. So wonderful. All right. So here we go. All right, everybody, you're back. It's good. Welcome back. How was your breakout? Did you meet somebody new you never met before? That's kind of cool. All right, great. Here's what I would like. I'd like to get a few people that can share, and then we're going to take a little break. But here's how the sharing works. Okay, so first things first, if you want to share something from your breakout, just go to your reactions and then hit raise hand like I just did, and it'll kind of like comes up to the front. I might not be able to get to like everybody depending on how many people want to share, but one of the things that you can share is your challenge, right? You can share your challenge, and then what are a few things that you discovered about yourself, lessons, gifts? You get the idea? Like you could totally do that. Another way that you can share, like Gabriel, if you don't want to share about yourself, when we do it in this format, you can actually like honor somebody else, right? Like, hey, I was in a group with so-and-so. It was really cool to hear how they overcame blank, or, make sure you're, don't share anything that was that overly sensitive. You probably all didn't share something so sensitive necessarily, but just be mindful of what you're sharing publicly. But I see a few of you, Kendall, Isaac, Jacob. We'll start with y'all first in a moment. But like I said, please, if you want to share something, go ahead and raise your hand, whether it's about you or you want to honor somebody in your group that sounded really great, or you're impressed by how they overcame or their challenge, their push period that they had previous in their lives. I'd love to hear that. So Kendall, why don't you kick us off here, assistant manager in the San Diego office, and we'll go around here a little bit.
Okay, so one of mine is basically when I started college, I had started at junior college because my dream school of like middle school shut down 9 days before I was supposed to get accepted. And I was kind of just like, I don't even know if I want to do this. And I guess all my friends started like going to college, doing all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be the high school dropout with no degree. So I decided pretty late in the game, I was like, you know what? I want to get into a good 4-year college. And I really wanted to go to UC Santa Barbara or UC San Diego. And I also applied to like Irvine, UCLA, other things. And I think was working 20 hours, had like 17 units, and just, I don't know how I did it. but I had this more work than there were hours in the day. And I just remember sitting and crying, like, I don't know how to do this. So the best that I could do was sit down and just do one thing. I'm like, if I just start this paper, if I just do one thing, I'm doing the best I can to get everything done and taken care of. So what I learned was just doing one thing off that list, just starting it, is what helps skyrocket you. And then when the quarter ended and when my paychecks came in at the end of the week, I ended up with like all A's except for one B plus, and was finally supporting myself. And nonetheless, and now I'm a senior at UC San Diego in Ravel College, and I'm excited to graduate in December. And if it weren't for just doing that one small thing in a day, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, if you didn't want to like shed a little love there for Kendall, that's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that, and that's really great to see. And sometimes you just got to be. It's just one thing. Like that's a light bulb for me right there. Remember, like sometimes I get super overwhelmed, right? And it's like, well, can I just take one step, in the right direction, and then that gets you going. So that's really great. Isaac, let's go to you, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna share something a bit different than I shared in the breakout rooms, but it's a story from when I wrestled in high school. So junior year of wrestling, I didn't really do too well. It was my first year of really competing for varsity, and in the end, when it came to league, I ended up not placing at all. I was last place out of the 5 guys out of the 5 schools in our league, and so that really upset me. And then over the summer, I just put nose to the grinder. I ended up becoming captain, which was pretty cool. And then throughout the entire year, I sacrificed a bunch of different stuff. I sacrificed my last homecoming dance to go wrestle in Vegas, which was pretty fun. But I got ridiculed for it by my friends for ditching them. And in the end, we made it to league. I ended up placing first in league ahead of everybody else. And I ended up going to CIF for my section, which is the southern section of CIF. And I wrestled and I ended up placing 7th. Now, that is a huge step up from where I was before, but I still wasn't happy with it. I know I could have beaten the guy that I lost to go to the 3rd place match because I beat him in the first round, and I should have beat him because I beat him in the first round. And I would have beat him if I wasn't scared of being tired. So the lesson that I pulled from this is don't be a would've, should've, could've person. If your goal is right in front of you and you're just scared of something, that things are going to change whether or not you achieve it. And putting your full strength towards it will prevent you from regretting it and thinking of it like 2 weeks later and being a woulda, shoulda, coulda person. So yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah. Awesome. Isaac, thanks for sharing that. You guys give him a little love in the chat or like anything that was good about that. Like I definitely, one of the things that I respect, I know how tough the sport of wrestling is, just in general. Right. So like tip my cap to you on that one. I could say that for a lot of sports, I suppose, but I think that's kind of cool because Isaac said I was afraid of getting tired, right? Like if I gas out and then it's like, but what are you just gassed out and you didn't, and then and I'm sure that you play that over in your head, so that's I think I take that for all of us for SC2, right? What if I don't gas out? What if I run out? What if I run out of tank? Like what a good light bulb to create for everybody here. So thanks for that. We'll do 2 more real quick. Miss Ayla, I'm going to come to you, and then Jacob, you can bring us home.
Hi. Well, one of my little pushes was actually like most recent was last year. It was my senior year, and that's when COVID like struck us the hardest, sort of kind of in the house. I was one like all through school and everything. I was that honor kid and everything, top smarts and everything, doing volleyball and track and everything. But COVID with like financial issues and everything, most of my parents got laid off. So I was the one that was able to find a job and start working and everything. And so the problem was I was working like probably like 50 hours and stuff like that in a week or 2 weeks. And that load with school and senior year and like moving to virtual was sort of hard for me. So that was the first time like I wasn't that top kid in like honors and stuff like that. And I was working and everything like that. And in the end, it sort of helped out. Like, well, it helped out and everything since I was able to help mom with bills and stuff like that and rent and stuff like that. But I also like my grades went down sort of kind of. And then some of my savings that I used for college to help out my mom also. And so this year that sort of also took a turn since I wanted to go to Fresno, and since my grades didn't meet those requirements, I'm not in a, but my learning and everything that I learned from it, I'm gonna go to crafting and everything. And I learned that I'm really strong because I used to look down at myself a lot and I was like, I can't do it, but I can kind of thing. And so my siblings looked up to me and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm stronger than I thought I was kind of thing.
Very nice, Ayla. Thanks for sharing that. That's fantastic. So thanks for that. And yeah, you are strong, right? And look at you, you're here, and you're still standing, and then the future is bright, right? So that's great. So thanks. So Jacob, I'm gonna come to you, sir, and then we'll wrap up here before our first break.
Sorry about the background noise because I have to watch my girlfriend's brothers. But
You're okay. You're okay right now.
One of my biggest goals was freshman year, we made it playoffs for football. And I was quarterback, and the day before my playoffs, my cousin passed away in front of me. So one of the biggest things for me was just to always push myself and think about my cousin. Like, he always had high expectations for me. He was always like an older brother. I have an older brother, but he was like one of the older brothers that was always there for me. So it's just one of those things that I have to remember. Like, I wasn't going to go to college. I was just going to figure out what to do. Then I remembered that my cousin always wanted me to push me to go to college. So I was like, you know what? I'll give college a chance. So I'm going to Moreno Valley College right now. And then I did good my first year. So I'm doing second year, and then I'm going to transfer to BYU, Idaho. So it's one of those things that don't let anything bring you down, no matter what happens in your life, because I've had struggles throughout my life. And also just looking at my dad, he went from eating spaghetti all day because that's the only money he had to working in LA and being a manager. So just always push yourself and don't let anything bring you down. Yeah, you're going to have struggles all the way, but just think the struggles are the ones that's going to push you. That's going to push you even more. So that's basically it.
Jacob, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Everybody, thank you for sharing there. That just did out loud. Here's what I'd like to do here before the break, because I know that sometimes in this forum, like, not everybody wants to go, yeah, like, Evan, spotlight my video so people see my grill up close. I understand that. So here's what I'd like for you to do is, please, in my chat box, whatever push you went through, could you type what's a lesson that you got? What's a gift that you got going through a challenging time, making sacrifices, like Isaac said, ditching his friends for the dance, right? Deciding to go to school, whatever it might be, right? What are some of the lessons and gifts that you got out of it? Okay, so Emily put stronger mentality, right? Like, that's really great. Rachel, learning how to believe in yourself, like, such an important thing. Learning how to prioritize, being patient and persistent. Okay. Okay, they're coming in faster than I can read. Don't give up, perceive, and consistency. Don't be afraid to just try and enjoy the process. Hey, what a thing, right? Commit to the process, enjoy the process. Hey, you might all hear that again from me for the push period, right? One day push 19 times, commit to the process, and you see what happens at the end, right? Learning how to ask for help. Allie, what a valuable thing to get, right? Because some people don't want to do that. And so never told to achieve your goals. Okay. When you're set back, keep pushing. All right, cool. Thanks, Brandon. I like that. All right, great. So, hey, I just wanted to bring some awareness to that for everybody, because I think it's valuable to just kind of start thinking about that process. Like, hey, we've all gone through pushes before. And in fact, those are the things oftentimes that shape us, carve us into this beautiful, beautiful piece that we are, and you look back on those things that were like the hardest, Lorian, in your life. And those are the things like you're most grateful for, right? Because, well, now that you've gotten through them, you're certainly grateful. You might not be grateful in the moment, but maybe you are. But that idea is that this is what I'm talking about, everybody, about the concept of intentional pushes, right? There's something really powerful about that, because some of the things y'all described that happened to you might have been circumstantial, right? COVID, something like that. That's not in our control. But if we can be the type of person that can handle those things, that's infinitely valuable. And you never know how many times you're going to rely on that in your life, because life is so challenging. It's such a struggle all the time, but there's so much beauty in it. One of my co-hosts, can y'all hear me okay? I just had something that said I was muted. So let's do a little break. Okay. I'd like to take 10. Before you break, let me show you how to break. Okay. Just like you did in training, right? It's okay if your video is off during the break, but break hard. Don't leave the Zoom. Okay. So you don't have to rename or anything like that. When you come back, I'm going to show you a couple of videos and we're going to get into planning. I'm going to do the technical, right? Schedule wise, how to do that. And then obviously there'll be some things that we're going to work together on at the end of our period. Okay. So it's 3:07 right now. I'll do a hard start at 3:17. And so if you can get your video on, a minute before, that would be great. And if any of you don't have your videos on right now, if you're able to get to a place where you can get a video on, I think that's best. Okay. So enjoy your break, everybody. I'll see you at 3:17. We're going to go on again here. Welcome back. Hopefully you had a good break and energized for the second part. Okay, so everybody should know from, my communications and the slides and manager's communication, we're going to get done at 4:30 today. So we're going to go through a lot of details right now. So this is going to be a big planning session, but I'm going to show a couple of videos and things of that nature. But what we're going to try to come to is helping everybody develop their goal. What is it that you want to shoot for during the push period? What is it that you want to actually accomplish? So here we go. So I showed this slide earlier and it says, why push, right? So this is not just a Cutco vector thing. So I want you to be thinking about this as you set your goal, Megan Lee, right? Is the goal, it's not everything about the goal. And in fact, I would say, if you're going to think big, Megan, just think huge, like what's possible for me. And even if I don't actually hit the goal, but I'm working towards that, that's really the growth anyway, So some of you are going to shoot for 10K. Some of you might shoot for 12.5 or 15 or 20. Like you might think of a really large goal, like even bigger, Chris, than what you think you would ever be capable of doing in a push period, But then we're going to break it down so you can actually see that method. But of course, we're going to talk about mastering the inner game and thinking like a push champion. So here's a couple of things I like to bring up. Okay. When it comes to this, is who you become is a lot more than how much you sell. Just raise your hand, or you can do a reaction or something like that if you've heard of David Goggins before. If this person is if you know this name, if you've seen him before, okay. He's a certain type of something. That's what I'll say. He's a certain type of something. And his recipe isn't for everybody. I rather enjoy him a lot. And he has done so many different things in the military, but now he's become this individual who's been very inspirational and really has become like kind of a motivation for a lot of people. And so he has a real tough mentality and says, when your mind is telling you that you're done, that you're exhausted, that you can't possibly go any further, you're only actually 40% done. So one of the things you can get down in your notes right now is the 40% rule. So I love teaching that here because you're not done, right? So this is like Isaac, you weren't done in that match, more to go, right? And so this is, don't be a shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Like Isaac was teaching us earlier in that moment, it's such a great lesson to learn. And sometimes we could say it, but you got to learn it yourself. But I'm going to show you a video here. I probably won't show the entire thing, but I'm going to give everybody a little glimpse here of what David is like. And he goes into Goggins mode here. So I'm going to play this and give me a thumbs up if you can hear that sound.
I started doing this triathlons and endurance sports, ultra runs, just to test my soul to see in a 150-mile race at mile 75 when I feel really bad. That's when you know that.
Well, sometimes that happens when you hit the wrong button. And
that's the only time.
I just want to make sure everybody got that. He said 150-mile race. All right, so I just want to let that sink in for a moment. We'll just leave that there. All right, let's keep going.
You can find out what the human body is all about, what you're made of, to find out limits to myself, limits to the human soul. And every day I'm trying to see if I have limits. I run anywhere from 125, 150 in a week. So I'll try and put in about 450 miles a month. Usually every day I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I run anywhere from 10 to 15 miles in the morning. And then I live about 25 miles from work. So I get my bicycle, commute into work, do a normal work day. At lunchtime around noon, I'll run again, anywhere from 5 to 8 miles, whatever it may be. Come back, work, and around 5:30, I'll ride back home, 25 miles on my bike. If I'm feeling good and I want to get more miles, I'll get off the bike and do like a short 3 or 4 or 5 mile run.
If I'm feeling good. Love it.
That's my everyday life. So I don't just train like an hour or so. I train until something is uncomfortable, and then that's when you know who you are. The only easy day was yesterday. It just never ends. I mean, I've done some races where you're on a 1 mile track and you'll run for 48 hours straight. So imagine running 48 hours and running 1 mile track. And it's not like you're sleeping, you're running for 48 hours to see how many miles you can get. I want to talk about mind torture. My life doesn't have a finish line. So when I cross the finish line of the Ironman, it doesn't matter, because I know that, 2 or 3 weeks from now, I'll be doing something else to put my body through more pain. I believe, everything I try to do is kind of defined by excellence, but I don't think I ever reach excellence myself, because my standards of my life are really high. So I don't think I ever reach it, but
So that might be a good thing to write down too when I watch is like, what are my standards? So put that down for yourself. Like, what are your standards for
try
you?
to every day. You have to be a good individual first before you can be a good team player. I know for a fact how bad Hell Week is. I went through it a couple times. It's probably the most brutal military training anybody can go through. So everybody to my left and everybody to my right, they've been through this. So I know mentally, these individuals are extremely hard. And when stuff gets bad in any situation, I know these guys have my back. I've done a lot of things I thought were impossible. Nothing's impossible anymore. David Goggins, the United States Navy.
All right, I'll stop it right there. Okay, so in the chat box, if you could, what thoughts come into brain when you hear this guy, when you see that level that he's working at? What shows up for you? What shows up for you? Yeah, that never give up, right? Yeah, Michael, he said a short 5 mile run, right? Those types of things, like different types of standards. Only easy day was yesterday, I think he said, right? So those things are great. Yeah, Isaac, you got that too. My life doesn't have a finish line. Yeah, that's pretty cool to see that. And then he says, I don't stop going until it's uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, cool. That's great. Now, here's the thing, Michelle, this might not be your brand, right? Might not be your recipe. You don't have to be that person that gets up and does all these physical exercises. But I think it's cool to see people that push their limits, because at the end of the day, you're like, wow, like you're so impressed by that person to be able to do that. And so it's nice to kind of discover. He was talking about, I want to discover my limits. I want to discover my limits. And I think that's such a great thing for the push period. Okay. So there's that. Now here's the next thing is I want to talk about this person, Kip Mangira. Okay. Mastering the inner game and the response ability that happens during the push period. So I'm going to show you this video as well.
I've had 8 or 9 surgeries over the years. We've got osteogenesis imperfecta, which means that my bones just aren't as strong as the average person's, and I break a lot. So when I was born, I came out like a bag of chips, popping. I don't look at it as anything to think about or feel bad about, because you can't change it. You just got to keep going.
Just want to make sure everybody gets this number, right? Okay. 350 miles traveled in his wheelchair during the push period, during SC2, or during an event like SC2.
Had pursued some jobs, but the problem with me is that the wheelchair is so large and obnoxious, and I can't get the wheelchair anywhere unless I do ride it around, because the vehicle that we have is not equipped to take this wheelchair. So any other job that I would have, I would need to find a job that would let me off on the days that it would rain, because obviously I can't show up to work soaking wet.
Over 10,000 for the push.
15,167 and have a baby! Cutco or Vector. Was pretty surprised when I got that phone call on a Sunday afternoon. I was eating dinner with my family.
49 appointments.
When they said that we have to go to different people's homes, I was kind of worried about how I would get inside the homes at first. But just do what I always do, and I just crawled at every appointment.
So just to make sure everybody heard that, because kind of like this back in the day, right, Nathan, we did all of our appointments at home, right? Drive all over. And he would literally get his wheelchair to the house and he would crawl into the house, because a lot of times the wheelchair couldn't fit into the house, and he would do his appointments.
I just like the fact that I can make my own schedule, flexibility. I still get to ride the wheelchair around all the time, my favorite hobby, and the opportunities to advance later on and graduate debt-free, which wasn't in my like path when I first started, but then I started to see, wow, it's a great opportunity here. A lot of people don't get this opportunity, and I don't know why. It just fell right in my lap. In 2 months, I've earned enough money for my first semester of school and some extra to put down on a new car too. A lot of people don't realize how good they have it here. My family is overseas in Africa right now, cooking dinner on camping style coals in the backyard. We take a lot for granted. If the people in Kenya can wake up every morning and get things done, there's no reason why anyone here shouldn't be able to. The bones just aren't.
So cool. I just want to share that for a second. That's pretty incredible, right? And Kip, that video is a couple of years old. Kip is actually one of our Cutco sales professionals now. It's just pretty cool to see that, And so one of the things I think, obviously, this group is not getting around in a wheelchair to appointments, but it's like, it's pretty cool to see somebody do that and dig deep. And then it's so easy to make excuses, right? And so this is what I think about a championship mindset. Maybe that's one of the things that you get out of the push period that you're desiring, is like the ability to eliminate excuses in your life and reasons, and learn how to combat those, right? Because for a lot of us, it's going to be simpler than Kip's path naturally. Okay. So I think that's a really great thing just for this group to see and for me to share with all of you there. So obviously his response to his situation is pretty incredible. So let me get my my slides back straightened up here for you. And then this is the third, right? So we're talking about circles of influence and thinking like a push champion. And so there's a few things that I'm gonna talk about during this, but we talk about our circles of influence are so valuable for us, and we need to, they shape our lives, right? Because people are either influencing you in a real positive way or otherwise, And so it's important, Nephi, that we choose intelligently. We choose the people who are going to influence us. And so we spent a lot of time talking about that, but that's why we're creating this alliance. So Teresa, is having a challenging day and Lawson picks her up, and Brannigan, you pick up Chris when Cooper needs to pick up Kimberly. You see what I mean? Like, this idea of creating this group that's cheering each other on is such a valuable thing. And so we talk about having people that you learn from, people that you learn with, and people that you end up mentoring and coaching. And if you're a leader in our business, Margarita, you're eventually going to start mentoring and coaching and influencing other people. What a gift, right? That you can give to other people. But right now, for many of you, if you're new, you're going to like, hey, who am I learning with? So put down this idea in your notes is who's going to be your push accountability partner? Who's going to be push accountability buddy? Where Kimberly, you have somebody that you're texting every morning. Are you up? Yeah, I'm up. How many calls are you making today? Ashley, what are you doing? Okay, I did this. And you're helping each other along the way because yeah, we're going to have our gunner group with our alliance group for sure. But it's also really nice to run the race with somebody. And you ideally want to have somebody that's going to pace. Maybe it's 2 or 3 people that you choose, but have people that are going to make you pace more quickly. You know, I often run by myself, but you know, I got an opportunity on the retreat to run with some of my district managers. And it was really nice because one of them was Austin Robinson, and he put the pace on me, you know, and I know that by the time that we got done at the retreat, I wouldn't have pushed myself as hard, but I wanted to catch his skinny ass, you know, and I wasn't able to. And so, but it was nice to do that because at the end, you know, Nathan, I got up the hill and I was heaving, right? You know, it's so hard to do, but I wouldn't have finished that way. I probably would have just jogged back and then that would have been the end of the workout for the day. Such a valuable to have people that are going to race faster than you. Okay. Y'all ready for some tactics? Let's dive into this. Here's what we're going to do. Everything right now, we are workshopping together. Okay. We're workshopping together to make sure that you can come up with a goal and a game plan. And I'm going to give you a boatload of ideas on how to set things up the right way for the push. Now, remember, Chris, my ask of all of you is to decide. Right? Is to decide. And what we're going to do right now is, Michelle, you might come up with a goal and then tonight you sleep on it. And then tomorrow morning you raise your goal. I love that. That's okay. You have that ability for some flexibility. But what I want everybody to do right now is, Nathan, when we go through this, I want you to put them down. Just go with your gut at first. Okay. What feels good for you for your goal? So you at least get that start. So Chelsea, if your goal even gets lowered before the push period, that's okay. But no matter what, you want to be locked and loaded before we start. And you want to commit to the process. Okay. So you commit the process of the demos, the process of doing the job, and then whatever ends up happening is what ends up happening. Right. Okay. So let's dive into that. So first thing here that I want to talk to everybody about is what you can win. Is that cool if you can win some stuff? Like there's some extra motivation that goes along there. And you, Chelsea, obviously you win your paycheck every week. You know, that's a good thing too. But there's levels that you can shoot for. So these just came out fresh from the company. Okay, from our Western region, I should say. So one of the things that I want to bring your attention to is the fact that we are going to be having these levels here for top 15 new representatives are going to get recognized. Maybe for some of you, that's a big motivator. You want to be a trophy winner. Maybe some of you are outside of the trophy range for SC1, but you want to get an opportunity to win. How about this? Maybe some of you are part of a new district team like the Chino Champs. You know, I think about that, like repping your team, being the #1 new district office or the #1 branch office. And our branches can get excited about that idea to compete. And then how about this? Top 2 divisions win, top division average. So this is what our average team sales inside of the division. Okay. So these are a lot of different things that you can work towards. Most of you though are probably motivated most by, hey, can I win some hardware? Can I win? You know, they're going to be giving away some Cutco and things like that. Okay, so you can see, anybody need a fisherman solution? Anybody need a gut hook knife? Okay, so these are gonna be the trophies that they're gonna do this year. All right, so I'm fired up about those. Now, they're also gonna do, you can see August 20th, it's 1 to 6. So you guys have this for your notes. And this bit.ly right here will be the registration. So I'll get this out to all of you. You'll get registered, it's no big deal. Some of you, by the way, already have school going on. Raise your hand if you already have school starting before this happens. Okay. Write this down in your notes. Don't sweat it. Okay. Curtis, don't sweat it. If you have school, it's no problem at all. You can totally work around that. And if any of you know, like you're looking, Isaac, at your classes and you're going, oh my gosh, I have school on the 20th. Don't worry about that either. Okay. But for right now, we'll get everybody registered. We'll figure that out later on. But this is like our ending cap for the most people for the summertime before school starts. Some people start the next week. Okay. So every 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 7,500. You see this? You're going to get extra chances in the drawing. All right. And so this is pretty cool because they really juice the prizes for this. So they have a Beats wireless speaker up for grabs. They got a microphone. They have a gourmet set. They got the Yeti cooler. They got the custom Nike gear. They have the 50-inch TV and then $1,000 cash prize. Is that okay, Brian? Just imagine if you won the $1,000 cash. That'd be great. That'd be incredible to do that, right? Imagine the gift that you could buy me. It would be amazing, you know? I'm just kidding, unless you want to. But you can think about that. Like, Margarita, what are you inspired about? What do you want to go for? What do you want to shoot for? And these are just extra cherry on top, right? So like I said, a lot of people for their first SC2 push go after this number. It's something very special in our business about having your first $10,000 push period, okay? But some of you are going to have a goal that's at 7,500. Okay. Or you have limited time and 2 vacations or something like that. And maybe your goal is $5,000. I would say if you're part of this event, don't think about anything less than $5,000. Okay. It's possible for everybody because think about this as just a couple big sets, But I want to make sure some people start to expand their thinking. What would it look like for this number? What would it look like for this number? What would it look like for these types of numbers? What's possible and what's out there? Okay. So I just wanted to bring that up so you had an opportunity to see. So we're going to do some planning. All right. This is rapid planning method. Okay. So this is something that was taught. I don't know if it was originally, but I learned it from Tony Robbins' event, is results, purpose, and making a massive action plan. So the first thing we want to come up with here is, what do I want? Okay. So Melina, you got to know what it is. We are aiming creatures. We are aiming creatures. We want to make an aim and we want to go after it. Okay. One of the things, think about this, like that's why we have eyesight, right? So we can see, so we can aim at something. And so I need to make sure that I come up with something about what I actually want to do. So we're going to boil that down, Chris, to 2 things, right? Your CPO goal and then your demo goal. So you actually know what you're shooting for. Okay. And then also, what do you want? Promotions, prizes, levels, TLA interview, right? To make a statement. There's all these other things that you can add on. Now, once you do that, we want to come out like, why do I want this? Okay. So Isaac needs to come up with some motivation. Joshua, you need to come up with some motivation. Gabriel, you need to have something that's going to drive you, right? If you know what the whys are, you can bear any how, right? It was Nietzsche that said that, right? And so, or some effect of that. So what you want to be thinking about is like, what is going to, like, why do I want this? What's my purpose? So we're going to come up with that today as well. And then also massive action plan. Massive action plan. How will I get it? So we're going to do a breakdown. Okay. So please listen closely. Everybody that's a part of this event right now, the next slides that I'm going to show you are projections, are ideas, are things, nephew, to get the wheels turning a little bit. I do want to invite you to do something though. Every past result you've ever gotten into our business at this point, I would like for you to leave that in the past. I would like for you to try to think about, hey, anything's possible for me. My potential is limitless. I can do great things. Kind of like Ayla was talking about, fighting through all those challenges at home and then fighting away into school, et cetera, right? So we can do great things. But Grace, if you think about past performance and you bring that into future predictions, sometimes that can affect how big we can think. You guys see what I mean? Now, we also want to have some realistic tone to it as well, too. So Kimberly shouldn't just go, Evan, I want to do 50K because that's the biggest number I heard you say. It's like, well, all right, let's break that down, right? Here's how many appointments it's going to take. Here's the work that it's going to take. And then you kind of dive into what it is that you want to do. Okay. So think big. When you go through this, think that anything is possible, even if you're not feeling like you can close at a high level, your average order isn't where it needs to be, Kenji, your referrals aren't where they need. No. Don't worry about any of that kind of stuff. So think big, and then we're going to help you get to a level of what you want to shoot for. So here's how it looks. Okay. So get all this down in your notes, please. I also will send later on for everybody some screenshots to the chat. Okay. So some of like the most important key slides for this, I'm going to put in the chat later on. Okay. But what I want you to put down are these questions is when you're looking for results is how many blitz days are you going to have, Cooper? And a blitz day is an all out day, right? I'm up early. I'm doing demos all day long, make some calls at the end of the night. That is a blitz day, like a real push. I don't expect anybody, Miss Jasmine, to do 19 blitz days unless you feel like your gas tank can hold it. Then go for it, right? There's an invitation if you want to, but most people don't do that, especially for a 19-day sales contest. Okay. How many buffer days are you going to need? Now, when I say buffer days, Megan, I really mean two things here. These are recovery days, because there's okay if you have a day during the push period, Caleb, that you don't do any demos. It's okay. Okay. It's totally fine if that's the case. Like, you don't have to gut out for 19 days, but you need to choose when are you going to do those ones and take them off intelligently. And then also a buffer day, Chris, too, is a preparation day. So sometimes a buffer day is like, I need to take this day, no demos. I need to make more phone calls. I'm going to send more messages. I'm going to make sure I create more appointments so I can roll for the next days. How many days off am I going to take during the push period? Okay. So some of you have events that are happening. You might have a little vacation or some little getaway, something like that going on. So your managers will help you work around that. And then what are my push hours today? So I'll talk about what push hours look like here. And your every day though, Kimberly, your push hours will look different. Some days are going to be more full than others. Some days you might only have an opportunity to do 2 or 3 hours. And then there's other days where Teresa's going to be up at 7 and you go till 10 p.m., because I'm really going for that day to expand your capacity. Okay. So what I broke down is 10K, 12 and a half, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Okay. I'm not really showing any lower goals than that right now. It's okay if you have a different goal than that. It's okay if you're bigger or you have a goal that's below 10 grand. And like I said, you can be a part of our alliance and work hard and attend the events. But a lot of our alliance members, what I do want our Primo alliance members to be thinking is $10,000, 12 and a half, $15,000 or bigger, because it's such a long period of time. Okay. And it's like kind of getting an opportunity to your fast start contest all over again. By the way, everybody, $10,000 right here. And at that level, at this small level for goals right here, although it is a large goal, but this small one on the slide, remember there's an additional prize for that for our push periods, which you may or may not know, but you get a chance to do the MVP night. Okay, you get a chance to do the MVP night, which is night out on the town with the division manager, right? So all of our top push performers, top fast starters, right, that have already achieved it this summer, like Mr. Isaac and Miss Becky and the like, okay? Brannigan, all right? You've already achieved that thing. That's great. But that opportunity for everybody to get a chance to win that dinner is fantastic. By the way, Isaac, when you hit it again, you win the next dinner too, when we go, all right? So don't be like, oh, Evan, well, do I just order 2 steaks instead? It's like, no, when we do 2 events, you get that opportunity to cash in, okay? So I just want you all to know. And then I broke down how much it is a day. Watch how helpful this is. Margarita, if you had a goal of $10,000 over 19 days, it's $500 in sales a day. Everybody run that number. What is our company average order? It's about $400. So Kimberly, what we're talking about here, Jasmine, Jesus, what we're talking about here, we're talking about getting a sale or 2 a day. So when you think about it like that, that kind of helps to break it down. Like, Brannigan, every single day, could you find a way to create 2 orders? And some of them might not even happen on demos. But I really like that because you can extend it out. And then obviously it goes up from there on the averages. Okay. So that's helpful to see. Now, this next thing that I'm going to show you is I'd like for you to grab your calendars out right now. And for those of you that have a Google Cal or something like that, you can use that while I'm showing you, or you can do a paper calendar, or what I invite you to do, Cooper, literally you just scratch this out on a piece of paper so you get this model and then you can plan it in afterwards. Okay. So I like to break this game down into quarters. Okay. I like the way the sports are, because you can focus on, instead of the 19 days, Kendall, you start focusing on quarters. What am I going to do? So August 2nd through August 5th is the first quarter. The 6th through the 9th is the second quarter. The 10th through the 13th is third quarter. 14th through the 16th is the fourth quarter. And then Tuesday to Thursday right here is overtime, people. All right. Now, every quarter, you very likely, Leo, are going to perform different. Ashley, you're going to have different results. But is that kind of helpful to break it down even just right there? Go, okay, what do I want to do this quarter? And then that's a goal that I can make it bite-sizable. And then we're going to go to the day. So when you do this, here's another good way to look at this. Again, this is just an example that I'm throwing out for everybody. This is not required or mandatory. I'm just showing ideas. So let's say this part here where I'm going, I want to get off to a really hot start. Okay, let's say I'm going for 50 appointments or something like that for my push period, right? And I have my overtime. Through these 4 days, what I'm trying to average, Teresa, is if I'm going for 12 to 14, I'm trying to average like 3 a day. All right. Okay. So that seems pretty reasonable. Okay. By the way, everybody, I just hear that my kids came home. The chance of my son coming and pounding on the door is very likely. Okay. So apologize for that in advance. Then what are you doing for the second quarter? How many are you shooting for? Then what am I doing for the third, the fourth, and then overtime? Okay. Then we have our SC2 event right here. Can you all see this right here? We have our resume and interview workshop. We do that on Sunday. We do that for a couple of reasons. So one of the things, Ashley, that we're going to do is at the end of the Vector summer, your first summer, we're going to help you build your new Vector resume. Is that cool? We're going to show you what to put down, everything you've like how to actually create a resume that an employer wants to look at, how to write a cover letter. And then we're also going to give you interview skills. Like how do you do a proper interview? Like how do you show up the right way and be impressive to the future employer? And then after that, it also helps very well because many of you are going to earn a spot for a TLA interview with me, and we're going to have a one-on-one. And so you get a chance to put those interviews into practice, those skills. Jasmine, you're going to send me your resume. I get to review that and your cover letter and give you feedback on that and talk about that. And then, of course, we'll get to decide if the TLA is going to be a good fit for you or not. Cool. All right. So hugely valuable at the end. All right. So give me the thumbs up if you like this concept, if it's simplified there. Beautiful. Now here's what I want you to do. I'd like for you to go through each quarter and I'd like for you to write a number. How many do you want to do for each quarter? So just sketch something out right now, Cooper. It doesn't have to be perfect. What you write down right now is not concretized. It is not in cement. It is not in stone. Just put an idea down. Okay. Now, some of you who know your schedules better than others, you might know when you have something going on. I got a vacation here. I got this trip here. Teresa's got her Tough Mudder right here, right? As an example. So Teresa right here, I actually think yours is like the 6th or the 8th or something like that. So her third quarter might not be, or second quarter, excuse me, might not be very spicy. Okay. In fact, maybe Teresa goes, okay, August 9th, Monday, that's me. Like I'm going to do 2 or 3 that day or 4 that day when I get done. Okay. But also she might not throw up a lot of points during the second quarter. And that's okay because there's 4 quarters and an overtime. All right. In my chat box, when you get done, just writing your numbers real quick. Don't put anything for overtime. Overtime is the bonus. It's the extra. Okay. Don't worry about that. But when you do get done, could you please just type in my chat box? If you've got all these down, just type done. Just type done. So I know kind of like where we're at. All right. Jasmine, cool. Emily, good. Brannigan, I got you. Okay, great. Yes, Lorian done, Neffy, Joshua, thank you, Michelle, Teresa, Ashley, Jesus, love it, love it, love it. Okay, Chris, Melina coming through, Margarita. Okay, great. I'll give you 1 more minute here, or like another few more seconds, I should say. All right, Sarah, thank you very much. Cool. All right, so you have an idea, right? Now, Dunzo, Curtis, thank you. Okay, now here's the next thing is watch my breakdown even further. Now I go by the day. So watch what I do right here. So let me teach this to you about how I thought through push periods as a representative. Okay, so Brannigan, you see, my first day, I'm going for 5. Hey, everybody, in my chat box, first day of the push, why am I going for 5? Why am I going for 5 that day? Why do you think I'm going for a big number of demos that day? Yeah. Brannigan typed to me like, I want to start strong. I want to get out of the gates, the blocks quick. I want to build momentum, right, Kyle? Yeah, for sure. Now, look at yours. What is it for you that you want to shoot for? And then Tuesday, I got 5. Hey, everybody, on Wednesday, check this out. On Wednesday, I have 2. I was just like, well, why only 2, right? If you're going big, why? Well, hey, what do we got on Wednesday? Well, we have a team event on Wednesday, right? That happened. I might not be able to get all those done. And then maybe that's a day where I just know that I'm not going to do a lot. But I want to bring your attention to one other thing. Check this out. If you remember, watch, Nathan. I want 12 to 14, right? Check this out. This is how I think through the process. For my first quarter, Margarita, I got 5, 5, 2. That's 12. What's this day? Buffer day, extra day if I need something. Chelsea, I hit my goal right here. Boom, I'm taking that day off. You see that? So I structure in my plan to set me up for success. But if these first couple of days I don't get what I want, I still have this extra buffer day to hit my goal for the quarter. So in your notes, you should get this down, what you want to shoot for the quarter, and then you want to start breaking down day by day. All right. Then you can see what I did for the second quarter. You can see, everybody see how I'm doing a full send on Saturday. Okay. Again, these are ideas. Like, Grace, this is how I thought about my push periods. You're going to have to decide your schedule and what you want to do and the work that you want to put in. But boom, I was going for a big day. Everybody, look at my Sundays. I got to bring my attention to my Sundays. See, those are two. Put this down in your notes. Never a full send on Sunday. Never a full send on Sunday during a push. Here's why. Sundays are big call days. For our top pushers, our top alliance members, these are big call days. So Cooper, maybe you do 2 in the morning and that's great, but Sunday afternoon and evening, we're calling to create our next quarter. Y'all see that? Because Chelsea, if you do full send Saturday and Sunday, you don't make that time for the phone calls to reload for the third quarter, these days are going to look like 1 and 1 and 2. You know what I mean? Very likely. So you want to set yourself up for success, even though Sunday is a day that you could do 6, 7, 8, right? Because it's a full day weekend day. You just don't need that branding in because there's so many days in the push. You want to be able to reload, restock, and reload. So it's another really important strategy. Okay. And then, of course, you can see what I have for my third quarter. You can see what I have for my fourth quarter. And then you see this right here, Grace. I got all question marks right here, all buffer days. So this is anything that I'm short on, I can catch up. And when we get into the fourth quarter and we get into overtime, that's when we're going to show you all how to do our final contests at the end, our final promotions that we're going to have. We're going to have some crazy specials that we're going to have during that time, show you how to market online, show you how to market on your social media, how to get phone orders, how to finish everything at the end to clean everything up. So we're going to teach you all these cool strategies on how to pull out all the stops. Okay. And then of course we have our SC2 event that starts at 1 o'clock on Friday. All right. So one more time, just to see this, it's like, okay, I broke it down my quarters. Then I start to think about how many I want to do. And then I go day by day. What would be good for me to do? And then of course, everybody, what you want to do is when you go through all your quarters here is put your final total. So Chelsea, you should have a final number. I think mine right here, I got like a nice range on mine, might be 42 to like 50 or so. Okay. So say my goal is to get to 50. All right. That's great. Margarita, I'm totally cool if your goal is 30. Melina, your goal might be 28 for what you know what I mean? That's all right. And even when you get those numbers lower, Megan, we're talking about doing 1 demo a day over a 19-day contest, right? Or maybe 2. So it's nothing crazy, but when you stay consistent over that course of time, you're going to put up some great numbers. Here's another example. Okay. Is thinking about this one here. Again, I just want you to absorb this, Nathan. Like, you don't have to write all this down. It's just going, hey, look, on a Sunday, part-time day where I got demos in the day, when I think about like part-time amount of appointments, phone time. Okay, Monday is a good blitz day. Tuesday maybe is a day that I send it, and then I do an power hour of planning, right? So I can put that in my schedule. We have our team event. We have our other part-time day in there on a Wednesday. Alliance and phone times in the morning. Blitz days. Saturday's a wild card day. Another power hour session. So you can see, everybody, please, when you look at this, don't look at this, Nephi, and check out and be like, oh my gosh, like I got to do all that stuff. I've never worked out. That is not your schedule. I'm just showing you what's possible for doing that. Again, you need to pick where those are going to be, but I want to make sure you set up your week the right way so you can go out and achieve your goal. Like Sunday's a day where you don't want a full send. You want to make sure you get a chance to make those phone calls. Okay. Now, I see in the chat box too, but what about champs clubs, right? We will have champs clubs and alliance. Those are going to be our alliance events and workshops in the morning. Okay. So we'll talk about like expectations of our alliance here pretty soon. All right. So that is some planning. Now, what can you actually accomplish when you go full out with effort, right? What can you actually accomplish? That's what we've been talking about. So here's the idea that I want to plant a seed for everybody. And this is, again, why we have the push period, is work as hard as you can to discover your limits. So one of the things that I really like is going through something, Megan, that I can see what I can see what I'm made of. I can see my limits. I can test them. I can push myself. I can go up against that challenge. So I discover something about me. My personal belief is that we never are going to learn everything about ourselves or until we get a chance to push against those limits, right? Because if we stay in our comfort zone, then we don't learn, we don't grow. And that's not the purpose of the push. The purpose of the push is to get outside of that. okay? And then you'll hear us talking about the miracle equation. So this is why I want to tell you is that this is from Hal Elrod, okay, who is our Vector alum, and he's definitely worth a Google search, and a best-selling author and podcaster, and multiple businesses, multimillionaire, et cetera, and came from the Cutco business. And he wrote this book called The Miracle Equation. And this is the simple idea of an unwavering faith plus an extraordinary effort. Miracles can happen. That's why, Margarita, I want you to believe, hey, 10K is possible for you, even if you haven't even sold $10,000 yet in your career, right? This is why people will go on for a big goal, Lawson, just to see. But this is so key, like unwavering faith. So Melina, can you not give up on yourself for 19 days? Brannigan, can you stick to something for 19 days? Isaac, when's the last time you committed to something hard? Well, I already know that. That was your fast start contest, man. That's why you broke the damn record. But here's another opportunity staring you right in the face. And there's also some of you too that like that challenge that some of y'all said, I noticed it was like back in high school, or maybe even earlier than that, maybe for some of you. So here's another opportunity staring you right in the face. Pretty cool to think that. So take advantage of that. I want to get an opportunity to break down these results for you. So check this out. I broke down a $10,000 sales number. Okay. And so this is what it looks like. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And what I did is I would like for you to all do this for your goal, what you're thinking of right now. Again, it could be any size goal that you want to shoot for, and you can adjust it, Grace, later on. But put down an idea of what you think you want to go for, what inspires you, what, Chris, is going to make you lose a little bit of sleep. What's going to make your stomach turn a little bit like, oh man, I don't even know if I want to say it out loud. I'm going for that one. Well, it's all right, because everybody, whatever your goal is, not everybody in our alliance will hit their goal. That's just how it works, right? Not everybody will do it, but there's going to be a lot of growth in the process. So I broke it down here. So here would be an example of a 10K goal with these quarters. Okay, again, these quarters can change. So what I did is a $10,000 sales goal. I took all my quarters, I added them all up. I got 42. Great. Okay, I have 42. Well, that's beautiful. Now I want to look at, for 10,000 divided by 42 demos, this is what I'm looking to produce per demo. Lawson, what is that? 3 knives? You know what I mean? So when you start to break this down to the like minute level, it can inspire a tremendous amount of confidence. Hey, check this out. If your goal was like 5,000, then we're talking about what? A little over $100 a demo, a knife. So you can see that this is so helpful. Also, this part is for 20,000, right? Some of you might be thinking that level. Hey, I want to go for something really big. I want to do more appointments I've ever done before. I want to stretch myself to limits. And Chelsea maybe goes, and I have the open schedule, right? School starts for me after SC2, right? My parents aren't taking me on a vacation tomorrow, and these types of things. So I broke that down. But even here, Brannigan, look at that. 60 demos, right? A lot more demos, but $333 per demo. Okay, that's an average order. All right. All right, cool. Can I get a customer to just get an average order on all my demos, right? Now, of course, this doesn't build in no sales into it. It's just like what you're averaging across the board, right? So naturally, you're not going to go 60 for 60 unless you get the special Jedi magic during your push period or something like that, right? But it's unlikely. I broke down $5,000 too. Okay. Oh, by the way, everybody, I just noticed I didn't update these numbers right here. So ignore these actual numbers, because you can see this is more than 5,000, but I updated these a little bit, right? And I had 26 demos and then 192 per demo in this case. Cool. All right. So again, you start to think about that, right? How many blitz days am I going to go for? Where days where I'm going to full send, right? How many buffer days do I need to have, right? A lot of times at the end of the quarter, or how many days am I going to take off during that time, and plan those days off, because that's okay if you need to take days off. And then what are my push hours going to be? So I'll talk about push hours and daily execution. So this is good for your notes. So here's an idea of a day in the push. Okay. That would be a blitz day, Cooper. Okay. A blitz day. So everybody, if you're on here, you already know we got champs clubs, right? Like, you've been to them before. You've been up in the morning for many of you. And so we're going to have champs clubs in the mornings. And our champs clubs are going to be our alliance meetings. So I'm going to be doing teaching for our alliance every single morning. Okay. So learn and call. So that's the idea, kind of setting your intentions and setting your day the right way. Then 10 to 6 is like pushing, doing demos, creating appointments, those types of things, updating Vector Impact, recapping your day, rejuvenate. Okay, so that would be an idea. Now, of course, these are not necessarily, just like I've been saying a couple times, Kendall, these are not necessarily hard hours, right? So you could have something that you need to rejuvenate from 8 to 11 and you're pushing from 10 to 5, something like that, right? It's just to give you some framework for what a big push day would look like. And of course, you want to make sure you're doing things during your push that are going to help you make more money. All right. And that's making more phone calls, scheduling, doing more demos, right? During that time, you got them booked, getting more numbers, getting appointments through Facebook, like we've taught, and skill development. Okay. All very good things, very simple to focus on. All right. Now, this gives you an idea, right? Gives you an idea. Now, if you were to do that day, every day, Lawson, for 19 days, for many of you, that feels too overwhelming. Yes. Yeah. It's like too much. Like I can't even do that much, you know? So that's not what you're signing up for in the Alliance, but which days are you going to work like that, right? Because there's some days you just want to work like a pro. You want to work like a pro if you're going to get paid like a pro during the push period. So you want to find those moments where you're going to do that. Okay. So what I'm going to share with y'all next is we're going to talk about the next part, like the RPM method is kind of developing your reasons for working. Okay. And we're going to do that. So here we go. I'll share my screen with you. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up with some whys. Okay. We want to come up with a list of these things. So this part is going to be a little bit interactive to start. We're going to start to develop our whys. Why does it matter for you, Margarita, to go after something like this, to set a big goal, to challenge yourself, to do something you've never done before? Why does it matter for you? And then here's my ask of everybody is I'm going to have you send, just like we did for and all the time that we do this always before our push periods, is posting up in our gunner group, in our Alliance group, your list of 25. So scratch paper right now, everybody. Scratch paper or scratch sheet, whatever you want to do. And I want you to I'm going to give you a couple minutes. I want you to start writing down some of your whys for going after something exciting for the push period. Okay. So I'm going to play a little music and I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes. So not very long, but I'd like for you to put pen to paper and go, why is this meaningful for me? Right? What is going to drive me towards what it is that I want? So here we go. I'll get this going. Okay. Here we go. All right, so there we go. Any reason right now is a good reason. Any why is a good why right now. Okay, so you should already start to have a pretty good list going. I'll have you share these later, but I'll just rack off a couple that are very typical ones for people. So maybe your why for doing this is to discover your potential. Maybe one of your whys is to earn a certain amount of income during this period. And then what are you going to do with that income? Some of you might want to increase your savings. Some of you might want to start investing for the long run. For me, one of mine was always paying for college. You know, that was a big one for me. Some of it was proving other people right that were cheering me on, like proving right. Hey, they're in my corner. They're supporting me and I want to show them that I can do it. And then of course there's the alternate to that, right? The opposite is proving somebody wrong, you know? So maybe you get motivated by that. And then you could also say that for yourself based on your own mental game. Maybe Cooper, you're cheering yourself on. So it's like, I got to prove myself right that I can do this, right? But also we have some people that show up to this event that might have doubts. Like, I'm not sure if I'll be good at Cutco long-term. Well, what an opportunity to prove yourself wrong. Some people want to just know what their capacity is. They want to know how far they can push themselves. Some people want to hone their skill set so that when they get out of the push period, their skills are sharp. You know, they know how to close, they know how to do a demo, they know how to get recommendations, they know how to network, they know how to get referrals. Like, that's such a big thing. Also, I always had my outcomes after the push that came from it too. So I had some kind of like career sales level I was going to get to. So you probably have something down there for all of you. Very likely you have a promotion that's written down as one of your whys. Some of you, it's advancement. It's becoming an assistant manager intern or AM or getting a TLA interview, making a statement, getting on the radar, right? That I've talked about. Otherwise for you could be like a material possession that you want to buy with the funds that you earn during this time. It could be any of these types of things, right? One of my big whys was always the referrals that I was going to get out of this and how it would explode my business after SC2. Because think about what's going to happen to all of your referrals if you do 30 appointments or 40 appointments or 50 appointments, Emily, during the push period. Like, your referral base is just going to grow so exponentially in a short period of time. And so I always love that part for the pushes too, because it was a resurgence for me. Cool. All right. So I'm going to pause you right there, wherever you're at. All right. So I'm going to ask everybody to post your whys. Okay. So not right now, but I would like for you to post at least one in my chat box right now. What is a big why that stands out for you individually about why you would want to do this? So go ahead and post that in there for me. So that way I can get a chance to see that. That would be great. What stands out for you? What's a driving factor for you? Yeah, so Brandon, like testing your limits, that's great. Proving yourself, to busy myself, distract myself from maybe other things that aren't of high value. That's good. Become a better person along the way, bettering yourself. That's so cool. Set a precedent, Megan. I love that one. If I do something big now, it means I can do something big later. That's a great one. I love that. I want to save money for future kids' college fund. Kendall, hey now. All right, cool. I like that. Pay for yours too. Saving for the future, pay for 2 semesters of school. Teresa, that's what I'm talking about, right? You're no stranger to this. All right, cool. Personal growth. I love it. Okay, so thanks everybody for doing that. And so we'll share the deadline if you want to write this down, everybody. By next Sunday coming up, I want everybody to post yours in the Gunner group. All right. So I'm going to have you do that. But some of you are going to feel like I'm going to do that tonight. You know, I'll get it done. Like, I already have my 25. By the way, feel free, Isaac, to have 55 if you want to. The more whys, the better, right? Because if one why lets you down, the other one can pick you right up. Okay. So some things that are going to drive us more than others, but have some fun with it. And it's just a great exercise to do, especially if you're going to do anything big. Do you see how you guys would do this for other things in your life? Hey, let me put down all my whys. Like, why do I actually want to go through this process? It helps you drive through the sacrifices that you need to make in order to be successful for these. So again, I'll have you post those up in the Gunner chat. Okay. So later on. So I'm going to give you, as we start to wind down, I'm going to give you some ideas of things to do to prepare. Okay. So first things first. Okay. So get all these in your notes to make sure you can prepare for the push. I run this meeting here, Kendall, purposefully because push doesn't start on Monday. We have a week and a half until the push starts, basically. Yeah. So I want people to have plenty of time. Megan, I want you to be able to ramp up. Grace, I want you to be able to work on getting your numbers. I want you to get your skills in place. So that way, when you start the contest, you're the sharpest you can be going into it, right? The most well prepared so you can be most successful. So here's some ideas, some musts. Number one is you want to work on getting more phone numbers in your Vector Impact. Of course, you'd probably expect that one. So Miss Jasmine, maybe you have 50 right now. You're going to fight to get to 100 and then get to 150 and then get to 200. Now, everybody, what should you be doing between now and when the push period starts? You should be doing demos every once in a while. Let me just say this, like Ashley, sometimes I have reps go, oh, Evan, I'm going to save them all for the push. Some of you might've already been thinking that, like, oh, I'm going to build up this thing. I'm just going to save them until No, do as many as you can actually between now and when the push starts, because your referral base can blow up. Y'all see that, right? So, but some people just don't think that way sometimes. They're like, I want to save them for that time. Scarcity mindset. Don't be in a scarcity mindset, abundance mindset. So thinking the more demos I do, the more referrals I'm going to collect, more momentum I'm going to build. So make sure that you decide on a demo goal that you're going to do this week. And then a demo goal, Teresa, that you're going to do next week to make sure that you can build that momentum into the push. The other is skill development. So we're going to do it with workshops. You've been working on your skills. Here's what I want to invite you to do. Here's a pro tip. Here's a best practice. Here's an idea. Find somebody on your team. Find somebody in our alliance group, in our gunner chat. Post in there. Anybody can do this. Hey, I'm going to practice right now. I'm going to rehearse. I'm going to drill for skill, we call it. Does anybody want to hop on with me and drill? Did y'all see how that could work? Hey, Isaac, let's hop on together. You do your rec approach. I'll do mine. Feedback, feedback, feedback. 15 minutes, boom. But we can actually work on live skill development. So y'all have the power to do that. So that's utilizing this group to do that. But be the leader. Remember, leaders lead. So don't be afraid, Jasmine, to post that up. Don't be the first one. Don't be afraid, Lauren, to be the first one in the group to put that up. Right. So I want to see a lot of that in our gunner chat of everybody helping each other out, training, learning, practicing. So valuable. Okay. And then do you see where it says calls? Arrive with 15 to 20 ahead to start. So I want this point to sink in, because this is one of the most valuable things I'll teach in order for setting up for push periods correctly. Momentum is good. You want to get off to a head start. So Cooper, if you start the push period with 0 demos in front of you, start cold on a Monday, you're going to feel extremely discouraged, right? And you're going to feel like you're fighting an uphill battle, and you're also going to feel like you lose a day. So what we want to start doing is we want to start setting up appointments in advance before we even get to the push period. So I'm going to talk about that strategy, but this is something good to get down for your notes is before the push starts on August 2nd, how many demos am I committed to having in front of me? Before the push period starts on August 2nd, how many demos am I committed to already having booked up, whether it's first quarter or second quarter? Lauren, how many are you going for? How are you going to start your push period with 10 or 15 or 20 or even 30 or more, right? So you kind of load it up on the front end so you have a lot of momentum and you have a lot of appointments in front of you. So I'm going to talk about that. And then prepping your COI. Y'all see that? Here's what you got to do. You have to have conversations in your life with people that are important to you. Okay? I don't know if anybody in our group here has a significant other. Probably want to have a conversation with that person. You have best friends, people that you kick it with, that you spend time with, right? Isaac, how you said, I bailed on my buddies so I could go wrestle and grow myself, right? For my goal. Like, hey, sometimes there's some sacrifices that need to be made. I'm not saying that you need to cut people off or anything like that, Kimberly, but you want to have conversations so there's an expectation. Because Chelsea, they're never going to care about your individual goals as much as you care about them. Would you agree? It's just how it goes, even if it's your mom. Because your mom's going to see you working your ass off. You're like, oh, just take the day, Come on, you've been up every morning. You're going for it in the lights. Like, take the day. Let's go do something, Chelsea. That sounds amazing, but at that time, a lot of people become weak in that moment, right? They're like, oh, I had this day plan, but that sounds really good, So if you set it up in advance, be like, Kimberly, if you were my mom, be like, don't ask me that stuff during the push. Let's do it after. Let's go celebrate after in a big way. So all the girls that I dated when I was in push periods, I'm like, hey, yo, I'm going to be a bad boyfriend for like 2.5 weeks. Like real bad. You're not going to like me very much. But here's what we're doing after, right? We're getting tickets here. We're going out to dinner, whatever it is. You guys get what I mean? This is my 18th year in the business. Do you still think I have conversations with people in my life about this? All my friends know it's SC2. I'm like, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. It's time. It's money making vacation time. That's what we're doing, right? For the push. Even my wife, we're gonna be married for 10 years in September. Middle of September. I have this conversation with my wife before every push period. I'm like, hey, Annie, look. And she's like, I already know what you're going to say. I'm like, no. Let me just share the goal with you. Let me tell you what's going on. Like, I want to set it up. So that way, later on, the expectations are really clear. So valuable. And then also you need to pick, Ayla, your accountability buddies, right? Who's going to be your circle of influence? Maybe it's somebody in your team. Maybe it's somebody that's on this Zoom or in our chat. Find somebody, connect with them, create a group, create a separate group chat, you and 2 others that are going to push each other, wake each other up in the morning, check in on each other, help each other out, keep you on your goals, right? Just like you'd have a workout buddy. Okay. Does that make sense, everybody? All right. And then this one's not on here, but it should be. But if you can put this in your notes, between now and when the push starts, if there's anything that you can do to clear your plate, do it. Here's what I mean. Lorian, clean your damn room. Clean your desk where you work. go get your oil changed, go get your car smog checked, right? Joshua, you see what I mean? Like anything that's like hanging, because you know what? When you're trying to make calls on day 2, you're like, you know what I should do? I probably should like make my bed, because that I got to do that over there. And we get focused on these small tasks that like don't pay out in a big way. So Kimberly, clear all that stuff out. What can you do? Maybe you have to register for classes, pay your tuition, whatever you can, clear all that. So that way you create more room and space. That's always a great concept. Okay. As far as calls ahead, here's the thing to get for your notes is on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So just so everybody knows, this is next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This is a great focus for our Alliance members. Okay, so Margarita, on Thursday, when you make phone calls, focus on booking up 5 ahead for the push. So you're going to make phone calls, but dump them into Monday, everybody. You see that? Dump them into the first quarter. Y'all with me on that? So it's not putting them on Saturday. It's not like dump them into the push. So you're starting to front load. Front loading is so key. Then Friday, Kendall, you do it again. Saturday, you do it again. So you're just constantly dumping those in there. And so you have a head start. So that's a pretty clear point. And then everybody, for our Alliance members, okay, we're going to have our all-day call days, and we're going to have our call days on Sundays. So we're going to have our regional phone jams. August 1st, that is our big call day for our Alliance members and for everybody for our push period to help them set up their push, okay? So the goal here, Jasmine, is that everybody is focused on leaving Sunday's call day with 20 ahead of you for the push. Hey, by the way, everybody, how would you feel if you had 20 appointments lined up in front of you right now? They're already booked. The customer said yes. Gabriel, would that be fired up? Has anybody ever had that before? Give yourself the gift. When you go to bed on Sunday night and Jasmine's like, holy sugar, I have 21 appointments ahead of me for this week. I am going to freaking crush it. Jasmine, you're going to get the biggest paycheck you've ever gotten in our business. Hit a lot of promotions, a lot of momentum. So do you guys see the key there? So you start trickling those things in. And when I say Sunday, all day call day, Chelsea, I'm not talking 7 a.m. to like 10 p.m. at night on Sunday, but we're going to have phone jam live where you can check in, book a few phone calls, take a little break, check in, make a few phone calls, take a little break. And so the idea is some of you might even have more, right? Gabriel, what would it look like? 20 is exciting, but why don't we talk about 25 or 30? What would that look like? You know, so you can do that. But remember, Lorian, over the next 10 days before the push, we're also talking about ramping up your customers, right? Ramping up the people that are in Vector Impact, collecting names, numbers, and putting as many as you can in there so you have your big war chest before you start. All right. I have a few last slides, everybody, and then we're going to end today. Let me give you our boot camp and workshop schedule for next week. I will be sending out a sign-up sheet for these, okay? Some of you are going to feel like you need to be at every single one of them, okay? To sharpen the saw, okay? Sharpen the saw. If you want to be able to do it, you got to have good tools. So on Monday, we're doing a workshop on anything and everything on how to create more appointments and expand your customers creatively, get more names and numbers. Because for some of you are going like, I don't know how I'm going to get to 200 or 300. Well, then go to that workshop. Go to that workshop. Go to that boot camp. John Roach is going to cover everything A to Z. On Tuesday, I'm going to go over the advanced triple close. Okay? So that will be a new technique for closing sets that I will show you all. Okay? A little twist on the demo. So that one will be completely new for all of you. You haven't seen that yet this summer. We save it for SC2. Wednesday, we got advanced closing, how to increase your average order and closing percentage. Then I'm going to do advanced dropping down on Thursday. So if any of you are going, you're not really selling like the middle sets, I'm going to talk about that. And then we have a phoning boot camp. If any of you need to sharpen up your phoning before we do the all day call day, you see all that? Okay, cool. So that's it right there. That's where we're setting that up. So that's next week. We have the Champs Club phoning in the morning and then learning. All right. So I'll send up signups for that. And you can sign up on the Google Sheet for which ones you want to be in attendance at. If you come to all of them, more power to you. Okay. By the way, some of you might already have things going on in the morning with working, another job, or even class that's already started. That makes you miss some of those. Okay. If you know that you can't come to one, Kyle, but you want to be at one. Well, Kyle, I know you'd be there, but like Michelle, probably a better example. Let Jordan know. We'll make sure that we get you the info. Okay. So I don't want anybody to feel like you're missing out. Okay. But if any of you are like, well, 8 a.m. is kind of early, allow me to virtually smack you
for the push, we just talk about challenging ourselves. Okay. So we're going to get up a little early. Okay. And so, and by the way, hey, I want to invite you for this, Sarah. What about during the push period if you decided, hey, not only do I want to challenge myself to sell as much as possible, but some of you might want to expand that as well if you want to explore your capacity. Maybe you're going to get up, you're going to do workouts, you're going to sweat every day, you're going to drink a gallon of water, you're going to, cut out the bullshit, you're going to turn off Instagram and delete that app. You're going to, you know what I mean? Like you're going to do those types of things. We have a lot of people during push periods that try to go, hey, I want to pile a few extra things on. I really want to see what I'm capable of. So I invite you to do that, right? Because it's a total push. See what you can do. And then I'm going to give you all your what's important now. Okay. So please get these in your notes. So first things first is attend the workshops next week in the boot camps, right? So we can sharpen the saw and get ready, right? If you want to be a part of our alliance, then hey, that's something important. Make sure you are ready, Neffy, to go crush this thing, to go to battle for the push. All right. The next thing that you want to be thinking about, okay, is adding and doing the work to add to your vector impact. Okay. So adding your total, Margarita, how many can you get to? How many can you get to? So we'll be talking about that workshop wise with mom, but workshop wise with John Roach, excuse me, but talk about how to work with mom and aunties and expand that and Facebook and these types of things to be able to do that. Third thing, please have a conversation with your COI. Okay. For whatever you're going to go for, Cooper, talk to your folks, right? You live at home with them, talk to your folks, talk to your siblings, talk to your best friends. If you're dating somebody, talk to them, just let them know like, hey, Chelsea, I'm gonna be working hard, and make sure that they're aware of that. And then ask for this is key, put this down, ask for their support. Hey, Megan, could you support me during this time? I'm working hard. I'm pushing myself. I'm going to see what I'm capable of. It's just short time, but I want to see what I can do. Because it's going to be a blink, right? The push is going to be over and then it's over, but you're going to learn a lot. And then, hey, decide on who your accountability partner is going to be. Okay. We talked about arriving with demos ahead, right? For the Sunday phone jam, right? I'm not talking about this Sunday. I'm talking about the all day call day one that happens on August 1st. Okay. August 1st, that big Sunday. Make sure you're present for that and can leave with demos ahead of you. I'm going to have you send something to me and your manager on WhatsApp. If everybody could take a look at the Gunner group right now, I'm going to forward something over. And since we have some time, I'd like for you to copy and paste that. And I would like for you to fill this out quickly and message it to our three-way networking that has your district manager in it and myself. Okay? If you're at this event, we should already have one going on. If there is any chance that we haven't, send this directly to your manager and then say, hey, can you create a networking with me and Evan? Right? Because I got to get it to Evan too. But if you're in San Diego, put it in your coaching chat. But maybe there's a couple of you that don't have that yet, potentially. So go ahead and post that in this. Does not get posted in the group. Okay, there we go. I just put another point of clarification for all of you. All right. So just look through that. And I want to make sure I walk everybody. I want to walk everybody through this. Maybe I can just do this. Is that good? You can see here. Okay. So right here where it says your goal set before all day call day on Sunday. So Kendall, think about it this way. Sunday's all day call day. How many do you want to have set ahead of you for the push? Maybe your number is 15. Okay. Maybe your number is 10. It doesn't matter, but it's like, I want to have that already booked up. Demo goal by Sunday night. Okay. So when I finish the call day by 9 o'clock, I want to have X amount in front of me. So maybe those numbers, like Lori, your numbers might look like 10 and then 20. Like that's a pretty good example, or like 15 and 25, something like that. And those aren't all going to happen, Lorian, in the first 3 days of the push, right? You might have them spread out through the whole first week. You might even have some go a little bit further, but it's just about getting them on the books. And then for your first quarter, Isaac, you're going to put how many demos you want to do in your first quarter and then slash your CPO, okay, what you're shooting for. Now I want to make sure, just in case anybody's unclear about that, I'll come back over here. This is what I'm showing you. This is what I'm asking for. Remember I did this little breakdown, Isaac, for like 10K, and I did how many per demo. I'm doing this demo. So I took 12 times that number and I got this number. That's where you get that number from. All right. So just so everybody is aware of that and what we're looking for. So you're going to take your total sales goal divided by how many demos you want to do. That's going to give you your CPO per demo. You multiply it by each one in the quarter, and then you throw that to us. Okay. Then the overtime finish strong. Nothing is posted there, everybody. Nothing is. That's just a reminder for all of us. And then your total push goal and demo goal. Give me a thumbs up if I'm articulating that clearly enough. And like, is that making sense? Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell like on Zoom, but I just want to make sure it's clear. By the way, if any of you, I've got like Ashley, well, you give me a thumbs up, but like Ashley, I'd say you're like, shoot, what the hell are you talking about? I missed that. Send a message in the chat. We'll help you get clarity on it. Also, Neffy, what you put right now, you're not signing it in blood. It's like, this is initially what I'm thinking of. Then you're gonna have a meeting with your manager and you guys might refine it a little bit, but you wanna get to a place, Lauren, where you're like, that feels really good. I'm excited about that number. That inspires me, and you go for that. All right. Let me get here and get towards these last ones. Oops, sorry, here we go. Send a picture of your whys, due by Sunday night, July 25th. But some of you might even finish that tonight. More power to you. I want to see the chat flooding with those. I love to read them all. Love to see what your whys are. It's great. And then you want to schedule a one-on-one with your manager. Okay. And later on, we'll post your pictures and your goals. So next week, you want to have a one-on-one with your manager just to make sure you get your goal refined. They know what's going on schedule-wise, those types of things. We want to make sure you get dialed in. And it's going to look a little something like this. Here's Kyle and Claire, right? Having your goal on there. We'll have a little template for you to fill out and everything like that, right? So it'll go in the Gunner chat. Okay. And then, of course, your picture is going to look a little something like that. So here's your what's important now for everybody. Does that sound good? All right. Let me wrap up with this. I'm going to give you all a template right now, okay, to fill out. I'll post it in there so you can all see. And this is coming up with your personal push purpose. Now, I have this written out, something that I like. I'll give you some liberty here, Marguerite. You want to adjust something, a word, something else strikes you differently, but that's all right. But you want to fill this out. So it's, hey, I'm committed to maintaining unwavering faith that I will sell blank for the SC2 push. And I'll continue putting forth extraordinary effort until I do, no matter what. There's no other option. Why? The reason I'm committed to my mission is because some of your top whys. How to ensure that I that the attainment of my mission is inevitable. I'll remain committed to blank for these 19 days. So just so everybody knows, this is appointments, right? How many appointments are you trying to do? I'm committed to doing this many. With being emotionally unattached to my results and focus on my efforts and my attitude, because those are in my control. Y'all see that? Unattached from results because we don't know what's going to happen, but we know that when we commit, amazing things can happen. Miracles happen. And then the mantra is, I'm committed to my mission because I know that I'm just as worthy, deserving, and capable of creating tangible, measurable miracles and achieving anything I want as any other person on earth. I'm using this push as a vehicle to get to my goals faster and continue creating my dream life. Cool. So this is a stepping stone for everybody, right? It's a challenge. It's a hurdle. It's a wall to climb, but that's why we have it. So I invite you all to fill that out, and your managers will follow up on that as well too, as will I. And I just want to know, like, this is basically for you where you're like, hey, I want to be part of this alliance. I want to challenge myself. I want to see what I'm capable for. I want to see what I can do. That's why we have it. In our last minute, everybody, I just want to express some gratitude and ask for some one light bulb from the event. I know we've talked about a lot of different things, but I want to express my gratitude for you being here, you showing up, you being engaged in the process and being open to learning. And I think that your decisions that you move forward from now, whatever you decide is okay with me. Chris, I'm okay either way. That's okay, right? I'm still going to do me for the push, right? I'm still going all in. I already know what I'm doing, right? I do the same thing for all the SC2 pushes. I know we're going to coach our top people. We're going to help them get success, and we're going to never give up on them. But make sure y'all decide to know what you're going to do, your push goals, right? Hey, I want to be part of the alliance, right? And I would encourage you to go in for it. In my chat box, if you could, I'm going to ask you to post a light bulb for today. What was valuable for you in our event today? What got the wheels turning? What got you thinking today about your future for the SC2 push and for the Super Bowl? What is a light bulb for you? We covered a lot, but what's something that stands out for you? Thanks, Allie. What does your full tank look like, and how long can you go? Right? How long can you go on a single charge? Kendall, I love all those ones. Those posted 1 million. Who you become is greater than how much you sell. Thank you very much. That, you know, everybody is high value, right? No matter what you are not your CPO. You are not your CPO. But I know y'all want a lot of CPO. I get it, but it's like, you're not your CPO, but pick a number you're damn excited about. Mike called me bad boy for the next 2 weeks. Look at Michael's commitment, people. That's really great. A conversation with your significant other is required. Okay. So make sure that's the case. Then do something really cool with them after, you know, break down your schedule each day, work together, help each other out. Thanks everybody for doing those. Second push into quarters and days, discovering your limits. Thanks. And then y'all know the drill. Before you move to your very next thing, please go to the Gunner chat. And I'd like for you to list them out like Kendall just did. She'll probably be the first one to post. Put all your light bulbs from the event into that Gunner chat. So we have them there. We can look back on it. You know, you can see anything that maybe you missed that somebody else grabbed. You know the drill. But for today, everybody, that is it. I'd like for you to keep your eyes on the Gunner chat. I'm going to later on tonight, not now, because you're all going to post your light bulbs. I'm gonna post a Google form for y'all to fill out. It'll take you 60 seconds. Just a quick gathering up your name, goals, number, you know, alliance, things like that. If you can all fill that out tonight, that would be great. But I won't post it for a couple of hours. Okay, so just keep your eyeballs on it. So thanks everybody. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy your Friday evening, and I look forward to growing with all of you for the push. I'll see y'all very soon. See ya.